right? So me seeing that and seeing how kids, a lot of them in the streets, like a lot of them, when I saw when dads died, them kids on the corner, they slinging dope, they not doing good in school. And when I was growing up, this was when we're in the 90s, we're talking about we got to get back family. It's when the Cosby Show was out, Different World, Family Matters, Mr. We saw these shows, and I kept hearing that black men have left the black women, black men aren't there, black men don't want to be married. And then you started to see, influencers and successful, athletes marry white women. This is when I started to hear all the white women taking the good black men, right? So it was all of those things that influenced me to say, I want to be part of the greater community, not having, fatherless children and crime and so on and so forth in the street. And as a kid, it was the brokenness that I saw, and believing that marriage was the backbone of family and society, that was the biggest influence on me wanting to get married.
Wow, thank you. How about for you, Mr. He said? How influential was family on you getting married?
It was incredibly influential. Not very different from Sir Hale. My format was a what not to do, because
Okay.
I come from an unsavory environment as well, and just the inspiration of what could be, and me wanting to break the cycle, me wanting to be different. I come from, my mom, I lost her when I was 9 years old. I never had a dad, so reality got thrust to me really fast about having those unconditional loving people in your life. So I was raised by my grandmom and my aunt, and they were amazing people, but they didn't want to raise a child at that time, and it started to become evident in their behavior and their actions, and understandably so. But that's how I kind of learned the what not to do. And even from the good houses, because I'm not going to make it sound like, Bed-Stuy was just this cantankerous place. It wasn't. It was families. It was curated. They had fathers, but again, like we sit in these spaces and talk to, even the houses with dads. Dad had a chair. He sat down and he was quiet. So, this perfect storm that has us sitting here now, even from the positive influences, I took the what not to do.
Mm,
Don't be like him. Don't take the belittling. Don't take the lack of education. Don't take the lack of valuing education, valuing family. And again, the possibilities of what I can do. Them being Southern, my family being, very Christian, pork and everything. Like, I completely did a 180. I gravitated to the Nation of Islam. I gravitated to a healthy diet. So, everything they did, it was a not for me, and that's how I curated my family. And in that, in combination with the sports, to bring that team aspect to it, it just started to become, again, a what not to do. And then, like Sir Hale said, TV, the Cosbys, Whitley and Dwayne, and all of the things that I proclaim, from Queen and Slim to any tandem, just showed me that a tandem is necessary. That even
mhm,
Oscar and Felix coexisted. The kitchen was never dirty. The living room was never dirty. Oscar room was dirty. So if you're going to be dirty in your area, be dirty in your space, and we can still coexist. So I always knew that two people had to coexist with each other. And, I was lucky enough to find somebody that coexists, and it is super easy. But nonetheless, it was a what not to do formula for me as well, and an inspiration of entertainment and television.
that's good. So just like Sir Hill, you guys were able to, because a lot of people can't get out of the rut that they were born into, really. So, being able to turn it around and say, I don't want that. I'm going to go the other way is actually tougher than people think it is, because you're pretty much on your own trying to turn, the ship around. So we're going to drop down to Black Man Unfiltered. Thank you so much for being here, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? What's up, fellas?
Good, good. So we're talking about marriage. I don't have no supporting clips tonight, Black Man Unfiltered, so don't think you're gonna see no videos. All y'all
All
on the
right,
hot
I got
seat
you.
tonight,
I got you.
okay? We're talking about marriage, of course, and I'm asking how much was family an influence on you when deciding to get married?
It was a great influence because I had to see my mom and dad, who are still married. It'll be 41 years this year on Christmas Day, 41 years. So I had an opportunity to watch them I had an opportunity to watch my grandmother and my grandfather, 63 years married,
Wow.
before he passed away. God bless his soul. And I used to watch my grandmother particularly because it's the way she used to serve him, right? She used to make sure he was taken care of, but he also took care of her. He was one of those men who would go out and work and bring the money to her and keep $5 and told her to put the money where it needs to be and allocate the money to where it goes.
Mm.
And it's just the way she loved him back. It was very receptive. What he gave her, she made it and just gave it right back to him. And it was just a beautiful thing to watch. And I even remember watching, I think it's also healthy to see disagreements and
Mhm.
also see how they heal from it. Because I remember they used to have these little arguments, little spats. And at night, they had a little couch beside the bed, and I would sleep on that couch, right? Because it was in the country. So I sleep on that couch, and I would hear my grandfather or my grandmother say, whichever one who felt like they wronged the other, I would hear them say, baby, earlier today, I know I raised my voice. I love you, and I'm sorry. Or vice versa, my grandfather. Hey, baby, you know what? Today, I'm sorry that I said that to you. I shouldn't have said that to you. We're going to get better. Okay, baby, I love you. And I hear a little, and they go to bed, right? And
Mhm.
I used to say, dang, and as I got older, my grandmother would tell me, I do that. She said, we do that because we go by something that they read in the Bible. They never go to bed angry at each other. Right. And so that's one of the things I try to use now. So, yes, they were very influential watching my mom copy my grandmother basically with my dad. It was very influential. So that's what I had to see growing up. It was amazing.
Thank you for that. And I think you were in my notes, but we're not going to touch on it because
Okay.
we're going to touch on it later.
Okay.
So,
Black man,
Arpin, how?
I was like,
Huh?
black man, is he sure it's all he heard in the bedroom? Is
Oh man. Oh man. Hey boy. Oh what? Man. Caught mom and dad a couple of times, boy. That was horrible. Yeah,
That's
man.
funny, man. Well, listen, you
Oh
know what,
man.
Black Man Unfiltered, you said something about my grandmother and grandfather because he was in the house too. But when I got in there, we were a little older, so he was retired. But he used to give her the money. And my grandmother's old West Indian lady, so she just ruled the roost. But every so often he would say, Vera, settle down, like that. She would just calm right on down.
Yeah.
And the one thing, the joke about the big piece of chicken, that shit is true. We used to have Sunday dinner around the table. No matter how many people around the table, he got his plate first with the big piece of chicken and everything else. You know what I'm saying? All set up, and everybody else, whatever was left, we shared, around the table. And
Right.
that's Sunday kind of tradition I keep myself. And
Mm-hmm.
the other thing that you said, yeah, I cook on Sunday. So when my girls come back, I lay stuff out and all that stuff. But
You be in the kitchen?
huh?
You be in the kitchen?
Oh yeah. First of all, it wasn't all good. I mean, it wasn't all just I should say saintly. I used to cook for the girls in college. I had that. That was
Oh,
one of my things. I cooked for
they
them.
got home cooked meal in
Wait
the
a
dorm room.
minute.
Whoa.
Wait a minute.
Ain't had no
Hey,
little
They
man,
better
chicken
be
you know
wise.
what
dinners,
I'm
They
saying?
better
baby.
be wise
I
now.
was kind of betting them thousands a little
Had
bit,
them pork chops.
So anyway, yeah, but it was just chicken gizzards. I had no money, I made chicken gizzards taste good, man. But anyway, the other thing you said about them making up with each other after little spats and stuff, I mean, I do that today. If me and my wife get into it, and we don't really get into anything heavy, but if I think I took it a little too far, I always apologize. And at night, not now because it's off the air, we used to go to bed watching Seinfeld reruns.
Wow.
So we're in the bed, we're dying laughing before we go to sleep almost every night. And that beats watching the news and having all that negativity coming to you. Instead, we going to
Laughter is
bed
the best
laughing our
medicine.
asses off. It's subtle, but I'm sure it makes a difference, right? Your demeanor is different. Everything else is different. So I mean, those are little things that just kind of happen to keep you moving, trying to stay positive. Don't go to bed angry and all that kind of stuff. And we really, very rarely let anything linger, and that's a good thing. And my family had a lot to do with it. Everybody in my family was kind of married. My aunts, my uncles, my brothers, my cousins. Everybody got married at least once.
Okay. So you saw it
So
growing up.
Yeah, so I saw it growing up. Let me land it there.
All right, Trigger Mike, how about for you? What was the influence of family on being married?
Damn. I guess I'm blessed,
Well, we know
man,
what your
because
father told you. We know what your father told. We know
yeah,
what your
but
Faja told you.
I mean, marriage and family, it's such a tradition that I never in my life saw myself being anything else other than a
Mhm.
married man and a father. That was my foremost duty. And I've been told I sound a little robotic when talking
Hmm.
about marriage, but I actually don't care
Yeah.
because I was very cerebral and strategic, and I always have been. That's the way I was taught to be. But then the interesting thing about it is I almost fell for it being raised here in the States. I almost fell for the Disney bug that marriage is about love, right? But it's only because I have been so cerebral and strategic that I actually have a chance to love my wife for life. Because all
Mhm.
these people telling me to marry for love and all this stuff, they can't seem to keep their relationships together. Forget a marriage. So I was always very cerebral. Even the girls I was, trying to date and play around with, for some reason there was a lack of ability to take them serious enough for the institution of marriage. So I knew that I always took a liking to the more feminine, the women who are soft and feminine on purpose, and they lead with that. And it's not that they're trying to show you um anything or be a fake person. It's just who they were. I've always gravitated toward that type of woman, and that was an example for me from my mother. An example of what a man could be was from my father. I said this the other day, and I meant it. I think I said it on She Critique. The greatest conversation ever had between a dad and a son, the conversation between a dad and the son about the type of husband and father you need to be, is the greatest conversation ever had without words. My dad never really
Mm.
said anything. He just showed me. I watch how he reacted, good and bad. Right? I watched when he got up to go to work when he didn't want to. I got when he came home and they gave him the big piece of chicken. And in our house, it's fufu, with stew and all of that. But still, my dad owned when he owned a nightclub and strip club. This dude came home at 3 in the morning, and guess who woke up to make him hot fufu? My mother, right? So I watched
Mm.
this institution and the way it's supposed to be done. So I'm very blessed. I'm very privileged to have had that happen for me, and hopefully I can share that with others. But I never in my life, when you see me, all that I am, I was made this way. I was purpose built for this, and this is who I always knew I would be. And I was playing around a little bit for a while because in our ranks 26, and I'm single. My dad he was about to jump on my head, but he would always say, listen, you're the eldest. What you
Mhm.
do, they're gonna do. I got 3 siblings. Not 1 year had passed after my wedding that my brother got engaged. So he was 100% right. And I had to keep setting that example. My brother has to keep setting that example for our younger cousins, so on and so forth.
Nice, nice. All righty. Darwin, how about you? How was the family influence for you upon getting married?
Well, for me, I had a fatherless experience. So the
You
influence
said
was kind of,
father you said fatherless?
yeah, I had a fatherless experience as a young man. So I didn't witness the marriage dynamic that you probably need to witness in order to have a correct or proper picture painted of what you need to do as a man in a relationship. Um, so it was more like a negative reinforcement for me.
Mhm.
So without a father, I was pushed. I had a motivation to be a father because that's not what I had. So I guess I don't want to say gift and a curse, but I guess it worked out.
Mhm.
And for her, she had a family. She had a mother and father who was married. They're still married today. They've been married for over 30 years. And she witnessed the, what do they call it? The family patriarch from her
Right.
parents. So she had the wifey qualities. They were instilled in her from her mother and her father. So she got that energy from fear of disappointment. So that's what allows her to thrive in the marriage. our marriage. And I get my energy from a fear of it not working out for the kids. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So
see how it
those
comes
two
full
things
circle.
I think those two things are really compatible.
Yeah.
You know, because those fears allows us to be like, hey, look, we got to stick this through, man. We got to work through it. We might have disagreements, but if it failed for you, your parents are gonna be like, "What? We just showed you 30 years of success. What the hell are you doing?" And then me, it's like I'm looking at my little sons, like, damn, bro. Like, they grow up and like, damn, where'd you drop the ball at, pops?
Yeah.
So that's what does it for me. That's the influence for me.
Thank you for sharing it. Ricky, how about for you? What was the family influence upon getting married for you? I know you kind of spoke on it a little bit earlier.
Yeah, my family had nothing to do with me getting married. I took cues of what not to do from them. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Like I said, they did my family didn't like my wife starting out. I don't care. I didn't care. I still don't care to this day. Right. Like I said, what I saw when I was growing up was from families outside of my own. I had two families that I had reference to. Our neighbors, Carrie and Kenny, they had a mom and dad, and you go over there and they had the Nintendos. Dinner was cooked at 5. You know what I'm saying? Just it was always, the experience was always consistent. It was a consistent experience. My friend Terrence, my best friend Terrence, it was a consistent experience. It wasn't up and down a bunch of wild stuff. And you saw how the houses was ran. It was an understanding between the mother and the father that everybody has their roles to get stuff done. You know what I mean? And plus, it's not just that. You saw the love that was there.
Right.
Right. How to both parents work, right? So when I did see him, especially my best friend Terrence, you know, whenever they see each other, they kissing and hugging each other, you know, hey baby boo, how you doing? Just beautiful stuff. Right. And I'm sitting there wondering, like, why this not going on in my house? What happened with my mom and dad? Better yet, why my stepfather, that was, he wasn't really my stepfather because they never got married, but there you go. You see what I'm saying? So like I said, I just honestly believe, like I said, they never had nothing to do with it. And I picked a woman that was for me, not for nobody else. I don't care what you think about my wife. It's not your business. It's not your business. I know what she does for me. My family ain't got nothing to do with it. Y'all ain't got nothing to say on her. Y'all ain't got, hey, you don't like it, look away. I don't care. I don't care. My wife's amazing to me. To me, you can hate her stinking guts, but she's amazing to me. She ain't got to impress none of y'all.
Thanks. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys. Y'all being hot tonight. I'm sweating. I need to turn on the air. I turned it off because I was cold. Now I'm getting hot. Because you guys are being honest, open, and transparent. And I think that everyone needs to see this. They need to witness it to know that it is real. Everyone doesn't come from the same background. Everyone doesn't come from the same walk of life. However, you guys have reached a place where you can turn your story into a testimony for other people to say, I didn't have a mom and dad either, but it's possible. I can turn from this and actually go in a different direction. So I wanted to ask you guys, when you signed up for love, did you know what you were signing up for at the time? And when you answer that question, let us know again the ages that you met your wife. When you signed up to be with her, did you know what you were signing up for? Or did you just know you wanted to be with someone? We'll start with Sir Hill.
I'm just trying to get some. I'm not even going to play with y'all. I'm not even going to play with y'all. This was not a decision that I made because I'm thinking about the next 20, 30 years.
Come on.
I mean,
okay,
if I'm being honest, I was a virgin. I was, I was taught to abstain and wait till marriage. I wasn't doing nothing. Listen, I didn't want the rapture to happen and I'll go to heaven and I ain't got no coochie on there. I didn't want it to happen. So that was part of the reason for me getting it. But no. So I ended up meeting my wife, and I won't say it was necessarily love at first sight, but I will say I knew what I wanted in life. I told my wife when I met her at 18 years old that there's going to come a day where we're going to be helping a lot of people in marriage, and it's going to be very difficult. Are you in for the ride? If you ask her today, I told her this at 18 years old. It has been exactly 18 years to the day that I told her that, and we're on this podcast with the real Precious talking about marriage and relationships. So
what do you
yeah.
know what today is?
Yeah.
Is it
So
your anniversary?
yep.
No,
So
it's
it's
the
funny. I met her.
anniversary. You threw down the law.
Yep. And what's funny is she said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And I said, "Listen, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard." I'm like, "What? I'm 18. Like I'm talking like I know something. I'm talking like I got gray hairs and I don't know." But I knew what it was going to take. And my wife said, "I'm in for the ride." And my wife wasn't the quiet, sweet. She wasn't that. It's funny. I thought I needed that initially, but you have to have a tough wife in this business because with the amount of pressure and the jabs and the attacks that happen, you can't have a wife that falters under pressure. You got to have a wife that's strong to lift you up spiritually and mentally and keep you inspired. And me seeing that strength in her, I knew I had a friend. And so when I met her, I wasn't looking for a wife. I was looking for a friend. And in developing a friendship, I found that my friend was my wife. And so that's part of my story.
Okay. We're gonna go to Black Man Unfiltered next. I just have a feeling in my spirit.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off my brother from another mother up there. Sir Hell Speaks. We was trying to tear that thing up, trying to get back it up. But again, it's just about those family values that I spoke about my mom and dad. I wanted what I saw. And
But did
it
you
was
know what you were signing up for? You wanted
yes.
what you saw, but
I
did you
kn-
know what you were signing up for?
yes, because when I signed up for it, I knew what would come with it because I've seen it. Right? When
Right,
you've been in
right.
it and you've seen it, when you sign up for it, you're like, okay, I'm about to do what the men before me have done, right? And I know there's going to be some hard times, there's some good times. So I wasn't raised with a silver spoon to understand that everything was going to be good, right? I
Right.
knew it was going to be good, bad, ugly. And so when
Mhm.
I signed up for it, I knew that, and we have gone through that, right? We just celebrated our anniversary on the 21st,
Happy
and
anniversary.
so yeah, I knew what was coming. I knew that it was going to be hard times, good times, bad times, misunderstandings. I knew those things were coming, and so I was prepared for them a little bit. Now some things caught me off guard, especially when it comes to parenting, and that caught me off. But because it's just too many personalities up in here. But other than that, I knew what I signed up for. I love my wife because she was so much different than everybody else. I'm with you, Ricky. I had some people in my family, not even me, like my mom. My mom and dad was good, everybody good. But I had some family members that did not like my wife because my wife would tell them, they would try to tell my wife stuff or go to my wife and say, hey, let me tell you what he did. She said, I'm not trying to hear that. She didn't want to be a part of nothing I did back then. She said, if he want me to know anything, he'll tell me. And I think, they didn't like her because of that, but I'm with you, Ricky. I don't care. But so that's how I knew what I signed up for. I love my wife. We had an amazing anniversary this past week. And we renewed our vows on the beaches of Jamaica.
Congrats, bro.
Jamaica. He
Congrats,
was
bro.
off
know
the
what I'm saying?
grid. Off the grid.
Man, yeah, we went on the beach and renewed our vows, and we looked at each other and we told each other, hey, listen, let's do this for another 100 years. If we make it that long, damn it, let's do it. And she said what she said to me. I said what I said to her, man, and we just locked in right now. It's just amazing right now. So, I knew what I signed up for, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
All right, we're gonna jump up to Mr. He said, did you know what you were signing up for? Did you know?
Honestly, Precious, no. I was 23 years old. I had no idea what I was signing up for, but I did know I was willing to show up every day, kind of like a job. I
Mhm.
didn't know. I didn't know what it entailed. I didn't know, you know, the different changes that a mature woman goes through. But I know that it's a roller coaster ride. I know that again, the team aspect of it. is what I was ready for. I was ready to be able to aspire to something greater than myself and do it, with other people, and put that
Mhm.
collective goal in mind. And that's having a family, having successful children. So, but I didn't know what I was signing up for as far as the individual wife that I was getting, because she goes through changes, life goes through changes, our family goes through changes, and these transitions, come with nuances. And
Mhm.
I think that's what made me a Tuesday, Wednesday thinker. She
Mm.
she proposed to me, and I wasn't ready
Oh,
at that
wow.
that particular time. Like, she walked up to me in the nightclub. Again, all of these things were initiated on me. So I had to take a self-reflection, because it wasn't just me anymore. When I take on this responsibility, and what Sir Hale was alluding to, that's what it was for me. It was that responsibility that made me a man, knowing it was no longer about me. Again, in sports, when you are the best player on your team, you're referred to as the man. So again, being the man comes with responsibilities. And
Mhm.
again, you are the face when you win, you are the blame when you lose. And I knew it came with all of that, but the specific woman that I was dealing with, I didn't know who she was going to be, but she ended up to be inspirational, motivational, and so many other positive words that, it was absolutely the best decision that I ever made in my life.
Okay. All right. Um, the actual King Smith. When you signed up for love, did you know what you were signing up for at the time?
No, more specifically, on the way to ask my now ex-wife to marry me, I stopped about halfway because where she lived and where I was stationed at was about a 2-hour difference. I drove about halfway. I stopped and I called my dad and I asked my dad, I say, "Hey, Pops, I'm thinking about asking my ex-wife to marry me. Should I do it?" And his exact answer to me was, "You're a grown man, son. That is for you to decide." Okay.
Mm.
Now, I bring that story up because did I know then what I was signing up for? No. As a 39-year-old, almost 40, if I were to go down that path again, I'm not calling my father and asking him. That's a decision that I would make solely on my own. And I think I know now what I would sign up for if I were to do it again.
Mm. Okay. Mr. Hank, how about for you? Did you know what you were signing up for at the time when you said I did?
I know what I was signing up for. Yeah, unfortunately.
Mhm.
I mean, I knew my ex had some things in the family that I didn't totally agree with, but I said I'm not marrying a family, I'm marrying her. And so that's how I rocked with it. And that's how I did it. So it's it's the story of that situation now. I know
Mm.
somebody asked a question in the chat, what made me want to do it again? Well, I tell you this, when I first got divorced in 2016, I was one of those guys who raged. I told the story before, who raged out, who's like, man, to hell with marriage. I'm not doing this no more. I guess kind of like what took King's approach. I'm not doing it again. And it took some therapy, a couple years of therapy in order to get me in that right mindset to even be open to do it again. But I was willing to open to do it again. I just had to make sure I had to do better vetting, better research, and make sure whatever my standards is, I got to hold to it and not waver from it, regardless. So that's what made me want to do it, because I was able to blessed to find a woman who's going to meet those things that I'm asking for and to live to
Mhm.
the standards that I'm requiring. And I said, well, let's rock out. Let's do this. So
Okay. We'll go down to Trigger Mike. Did you know what you were signing up for when you said I do?
Absolutely. The worst part is let me go a little different. I was too prepared.
Mm.
And
What does
not
that
only
look
was I
like?
too prepared, that's actually not a good thing, because if depending on who you marry, you have the unfortunate occurrence where you can exasperate your partner with all you know. Right? You could be a little too matter of fact about everything. And that was me at the beginning. So this is the way it's supposed to go. Don't worry, this is normal. So the bad part is that I didn't realize that I was bringing my wife along. There's a lot of, just as everybody said, they come from different walks of life. You should see her father now. He wasn't in the picture at first. He was a unfortunate person who got involved in the crack epidemic. Took himself a long time to get turned around, but he's a pastor now. Takes care of his family, is probably, I don't know, probably on a scale, people say, oh no, grandparents. He's probably a little up there on the grandparents. He's going for #1 grandparent award of the year. But yeah, so she was battling with those things, and I didn't realize that you have to do a job with your companion to not only help them understand marriage, but not bulldoze them with all in comparison or versus what they know. It's really taking the ride along with them to develop how your journey is supposed to go. So I had to really tone down a lot of that about myself. Yes, would it have been different if I married somebody who grew up in like a Nigerian household the same as I did? That's when I probably would have maybe had the benefit of not being the way my father was. But no, I made my choice, right? This is somebody who needs to have a little more finesse with it, have a little bit of softer touch, and I had to change my approach and do that. So I knew a little too much going in, and when I say too much, I'm a little bit what you call stoic in the marriage. You give me things that I'm supposed to understand, I'm going to give you logic every time. Logic is not always the way you approach your wife. It's not always the way to smooth over every situation, right? That's something I learned. It's something I watch. So I had to be somebody who listened more, right? At least give the appearance that I'm open to hearing suggestions on family decisions. So yeah, it was a journey for me. Sometimes you can actually know too much to the point where you're rigid and you don't want to adapt. So I had to become a little bit more adaptable to make it work.
That's an interesting perspective. You felt as though you knew too much about marriage.
Yeah.
All right. I'll hop over to Ricky. You know, what were the signs? How did you know what you were signing up for at that time?
Exactly what I was signing up for. That's why I be telling you, ain't no excuses. Everybody want to use excuses. Ain't no excuses. When you ask, you know exactly what it is. You know exactly what it is. As if you want to be true to it. As if you want to be true to it. I knew, like, I was married before. Or I call it married. It's really like a annulment. We weren't even married 6 months. It was in and out. You know what I mean? And at that point, like, I really didn't compromise. Like, she was a good woman, but I wasn't in the space I needed to be. I realized that later in life, right? But when I met my wife, like, the first thing, and I tell everybody this, we was friends before we was anything. We was friends before sex or a relationship or commitment. We was friends before we was anything. And when we talked and we sat and we talked and we hung out and I got to see how she reacted to things and she saw how I reacted to things, it made it real easy. Right? Not the marriage, because y'all don't understand. Like, y'all irritating too. Right? You and your mate is irritating. Anybody you're around all the time is going to irritate you at one time or another. Right? You wear your underwear, get up in your butt and your nuts be sweating, they irritate you, right? It's the same with people. Right? But when I saw how she reacted to things and how she handled certain situations, especially when times got hot, I knew she one of them ones. And I believe in God only bless men with about 3 good women in your life. So don't be stupid. You know what I'm saying? Don't be stupid. Hopefully one of them is your mama.
Hopefully.
Right. So I just knew she just a woman, like I be talking about it here. Men and women know. I don't know why people try to play like this is so like it's such a foreign idea. You know a lady when you see one.
Yeah.
You know a lady by the way she carry herself, by the way she smile, by the way she light up a room when she walk in. You know a lady when you see one. She's a lady. Always has been. So I knew exactly where I was getting to. I knew the road ain't gonna be perfect. Everything's not gonna go your way, but that's why it's called a marriage. Right? I tell y'all, like I told y'all before, I wouldn't trade my old lady for none of y'all. None of you. Y'all can't fill her shoes.
That's
Right?
right. All right, we're gonna jump over to our pain, and then we're gonna end this question with Don.
All right. And listen, not only was I ready, I was looking for a wife.
You
That's
said
why
that,
I
yeah.
stopped dating for a while,
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted my head to be clear. That means not dating, no sex, no nothing. I was just, if I talked to a lady and she wanted to go out, but I knew she wasn't going to be somebody I wanted to pursue anything with, I just didn't do it. I
Mm-hmm.
just didn't do it. So when I met my wife and fiance at the time, well, girl, we went out a couple of times. And I asked, I said, listen, what do you want to do? Because I said, I don't need another girlfriend. Are we going to be, trying to build to something? And that wasn't my proposal. I think I was a little bit more eloquent when I did it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was more like, do you want something serious or you just want to play around? But her disposition was exactly what I was looking for. She was pleasant, and she was her own lady. I mean, she's college educated and all that kind of stuff, but she was still living at home. She was
Okay.
still living at home. So when we, courted some more, I don't think we had like a real relationship. I think we just went right into courting each other, trying to find
Mm-hmm.
out about each other. Then I asked her father for her hand in marriage. So I went to him and I said, listen, I want to marry your daughter. And he said, yeah. And he said, listen, all I'm gonna give it to you in one piece. Just bring her back in one piece. And his name is Mr. Powell. I said, listen, man, she ain't coming back. She ain't coming back. And so they actually paid for my wedding. They
Oh
paid for
wow.
big wedding. They paid for everything, man. I'm saying, listen, and I got 2 girls now, and I feel obligated. They have to get married. I'm gonna have to come out of
Got to
the,
do it twice.
woodworks and find a way to pay for it. But yeah, so we've been, we've had I don't even want to say we had real down periods. We
Mm-hmm.
had growth periods on how we had to, as we were married. Yeah, so I kind of knew. And so it was
Mm-hmm.
easy for me to ask her, and specifically her,
Mm-hmm.
to be my wife, you know? And that's the superpower I think we have. Now, Mr. Hesef said his wife asked him, but and I don't know if that was the way it ended, but, for the most part, men ask their women, you know?
Hell no, Pain. I wasn't saying yes to that.
Okay, there you go. There you go. I hear you. Yeah, that was clear. Right. So what I'm saying
Mm-mm.
is, I want to digress off into that, but that's our last superpower because we're telling that woman that we're going to sacrifice everything we have for you. And I don't think
Mm-hmm.
enough men let that be known, and especially if you've fallen in love with a cloud of just love over your face and not practicality and all that other kind of stuff that you need to have, knowing that you're crossing over into this Rubicon that is going to cost you everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was ready. Let me just leave it there. We'll talk about something. I was ready. And so we're
Okay.
still married.
Darwin, how about you? When you signed up for love, did you know what you were signing up for?
Yeah. I knew what I was signing up for. I was 30 years old. I knew that no matter the state of the woman, uh, I had the ability to mold her into what I wanted. I had the
Mm-hmm.
ability to influence her to be a helpmeet. So I just had enough, knowledge and power to be able to do that. And I would say it's because I had knew what my purpose was. I was on my purpose. I knew what the end goal was, And I was able to articulate that to any woman that was able to accept what I had to offer. And so long as it intersected or aligned with what she wanted, and it was GG.
Mm-hmm.
So once I figured out she was willing to be an asset, not a liability, it was game over. Once I knew that she was willing to relocate, if she was on a career path, she was even willing to change her career to be a complement, in case in the future we wanted to go into business.
Mm-hmm.
She was willing to do that for me because she trusted in me and she saw my plan and she saw what I was able to, the direction I was going, and she was like, okay, look, I want to follow this man.
Mm-hmm.
This is giving me a resemblance of, where I came from. So it just made things much easier. Yeah, that's my 2 cents on that.
All right, y'all. I got a trivia question for you to lighten it up a little bit before we get into some more talk. Okay, y'all. I'm telling you, y'all are on a hot seat tonight. All right. 3 questions for you. It's trivia. How well do you know your lady? All right. Now, if they watching and you get it wrong, don't blame me. Okay. So the first question is, what is her favorite fragrance? Do you guys and this y'all see y'all faces. I can't wait to watch the replay. I can't wait.
Can't know my current ladies.
Because we got to make sure that you guys know this. And if you don't, you will tonight. Okay. So what is her favorite fragrance? Whoever wants to go first.
Me. Mine doesn't wear any fragrances. That's too easy. That's too easy.
Yeah, mine doesn't either.
No fragrances?
Nope.
Y'all let me know in the chat. If they
I was
lying or
gonna
not.
say it. People won't believe it, but it's literally whatever I buy her. That's her favorite fragrance. So she doesn't. My mom, I think she said she hadn't bought. She bought all the usual ones, the flower bombs and all that. And then for a while, I don't know, she just was working into work, so she do body spray, all that nice stuff. And then I noticed she didn't have anything. And my mom is a big gifter. She spends money for no reason, right? And just say, I'm gonna give it to my children. So she was just glad to dump all this stuff off on my wife. And I noticed she had used all her perfumes that my mom had gave her. And while I was buying some cologne one day, I literally kind of, smelled a woman who was trying it on. I was like, damn, that'd be dope if my wife would wear that. That joint smell good. That probably smell good coming off her skin. And she wear now. It's just a custom. Everything smells good to her. If it smells a little light, I think she likes the more acidic, fruity scents. And some people like the naturey one.
Some
No,
people
she
like
likes
the
the light.
vanillas and the
Exactly. So she be like, "This is great." I be like, "Okay." So she wears whatever I buy.
Okay. Anybody else want to take a stab at it?
Yep. So my wife, we just actually went to the mall a couple of days ago, and there was she doesn't have a favorite, but she does have a type. So it's light. It's a really light, fresh kind of smell. We went to Dolce and Gabbana, and she just went through and just started smelling different things. So if it's a nice light smell and it says for women, that's her favorite. As a matter of fact, this is a real story. Like when we get expensive perfume, her response is always, I just want to get this because this is my favorite one. So I say that to say her favorite depends on how much it is and how frequent we're buying perfume.
Okay. All right. So, I'm sorry. Who else wants to go? Is it Black Men Unfiltered?
No. I was just gonna say, it's pretty much like anything that smells good, but her number one favorite that she uses all the time is the Libre Saint Laurent. Like that's her go-to. However, anything that smells good, she'll buy it. I mean, I'll get it for her, or she'll pick it up while she's in the mall or wherever she is.
I've never smelled that before, but I heard it smells really good. Is that the one in the black bottle? I think
The
in a black bottle.
gold. Yeah.
I've heard of that one.
It smells
Anybody else want to take a stab at it?
I take a stab at it. The missus likes light coconutty smells. Coconut, I believe, is one of her favorites.
Too
And
much
one
medication.
time, some Michael Kors fell off a truck in the sty, and I got it from one of my guys. And yeah,
I love
He
she
almost fell off the
she
truck.
kind of
Oh,
like that.
okay.
I'm gonna go with that. But she likes coconut, anything light,
That's good,
nutty,
man.
earthy. That's pretty much her go-to, but not one that has a particular favorite or is, one that goes crazy over expensive perfumes. She'll
Yeah,
try
my
to
girl.
compliment whatever she wears.
Yeah, my
Gotcha.
girl don't wear no fancy stuff. I think the fanciest stuff I ever seen her wear is like some Sean John Unforgiven for women. But
Mm.
she likes stuff from like Bath and Body Works, the bath washes and stuff like that.
hmm
It's all depending on what catch her fancy at that time.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna move on from the fragrances. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad, y'all. Go ahead.
My wife, she like whatever I spray on her.
Okay.
No,
Oh,
I'm
you
just,
know what?
I'm
See,
just kidding.
I didn't even get it at first.
Okay, Darwin.
Yeah.
No, but
Obviously, she done
Uh,
pop one out. Another
we
one.
got 2 kids, so I've been
Another one.
spraying. But anyways, she is this bottle I always see under the sink when she get ready. It's like it's a glass clear bottle, and it's got a flower on the top of it as the top.
Mhm.
It's a white flower. I don't know what kind of perfume that is, but that's the one that she always wear. And
That might be Elizabeth Taylor, man.
I don't know what it
That
is.
one on top.
She might be a feminist or something, but
White
regardless of
diamond,
what show
that
is,
white diamond.
he
That's your
he's
grandma's
always
favorite.
running late and behind. So whenever she's getting ready, I'm in the truck. So I really never get to see what she's spraying on
Gotcha. Well,
because
you better go
she's
and
always
peep.
behind trying to get ready. You know how women are. I'll be there in 5 minutes and it'd be 30 minutes. She had to knock on the door and ask, and get up, unlock the door, and I'm in that bitch. So
All right. Well, next time go and peek. See what she like, and then one day just surprise her with it.
My lady just text me.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
She said, "I'm gonna get him on a hotline because you ain't about to be up here not knowing."
She texted me.
communication is important.
Okay.
Yeah.
If he don't know, he gonna know now.
Yeah, from Bath and Body Works.
Okay. Which one?
Warm vanilla sugar.
Ooh.
y'all
Warm
telling
vanilla
y'all, hey,
sugar.
y'all telling y'all tax brackets with these perfumes.
No, that's from Bath and Body Works. I don't think that's too expensive, bro.
Thank you for that.
There are some. I like the oil.
Broke me
the
and get
oil
love
mist.
too. Broke me and get love too.
That's right.
They have some oil-based fragrances there that are really good. I don't like all of their fragrances, but there's a couple that I like. I'm the One, I think, is one that they discontinued that I really like. I gotta look online for that one. And they have another one, Dahlia, Dahlia, which is a good one too. It's a oil-based perfume. So a couple of them there, are all right. Their candles are good too. But my other ones are Gucci Bloom and J'adore by Dior.
I thought you was a Japanese cherry blossom or one of them women
no.
burn incense and just.
No.
I was quiet on this one though, but my wife likes those bed and bathroom stuff too, lavender, sandalwood, those kind of.
Bed and
Because they're probably
bathroom.
going there for the candles. They're probably going there for the
Bathroom.
candles.
Whatever it is, that's what I call it.
So what's she wearing?
Did
Pine
you say
Sol?
bed and
Just-
bathroom?
Bed and bathroom and beyond, or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Pine Sol and just
Hey,
go,
bed and bathroom.
She like that Glade air freshener. That's what she like.
the all
Said,
base
"Damn,
blade.
this thing."
They said the bathroom.
Okay,
you smell
man,
like
I tell you, I'm
That's
going
right.
on, man.
Yeah, she's
That's
kidding.
I
Yeah,
should have
use
kept my mouth
Windex.
shut.
Yeah, Windex.
I should have kept my mouth shut.
You gotta put some Lysol on that joint.
Lysol on that thing, boy.
Hey, the fresh
Oh,
linen
my
one is
God.
good. The fresh linen is good.
All right,
Bad-
so
body
another
and
one.
bathroom. Wow.
What is her dream vacation? Is there a dream vacation? What would be her dream vacation? Do y'all know this?
Yep.
This one.
All right,
Yep.
now I know y'all
It
know.
doesn't matter.
She's gonna let you know where she want to get away to.
I just
It
got
doesn't
that.
matter. We're not going.
You said you're not
Well-
going? Okay, so
not
Black Men
going.
Unfiltered just got back, so it's Jamaica, right?
Hers was
Jamaica is
Jamaica
beautiful.
for sure.
Okay. Who's
Yeah.
next?
My
We did Hawaii on my bucket list. We went first class to Hawaii and back.
Ooh. And y'all went.
Oh, he had to make up for that
So you checked
bathroom.
it
That's
off?
what,
Yeah, yeah, make up for that.
Hold on, wait. Hey, did somebody say they wife dream is to go to Jamaica?
yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
me.
their
My
what's
wife-
their
Whatever you do, don't let her get
dream
on, don't let
dream
her,
vacation?
don't let her get on them rafts with the boys that be
Rubbing on a booty.
Oh no.
The clay rubbers.
we just got back to, bro. We just got
Wait,
back
the
to.
what rubbers?
No,
What they calling it now?
They're
No,
the
they
rafts
rubbing
where the
clay.
guys be rubbing the clay on the girl's booty. I don't know
they
how
take it
women
all
feel
in it.
comfortable enough to do
Yeah,
that.
ain't none of that happening.
They
Bro.
have-
I wouldn't be on camera right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I got
No.
married in
Let
Jamaica,
me
bro.
rub those cheeks.
Oh, you
My
got
wife
married in
wasn't
Jamaica?
wrong.
Trigger Mike? You
Yeah.
got married in Jamaica?
Lot of
Sure
mercy.
did. And my wife didn't leave my sight for more than 3 minutes at a time.
No, that's right.
That must have been some fast clay rubbing.
Yep.
you
So
better shorten it
what's
because
her
he
dream
like me.
vacation?
Well, all they need is 2 minutes.
So I don't know. We're never going. But it's Bali. I don't
Dude,
know.
stupid, bro.
I don't know what people have with 24-hour like flight. You know, those long flight times. I'm never
It
doing
takes
that.
24
Never.
hours to get there in
No,
the air.
it's like literally the other end of the world. For me,
yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
going. She can go by herself.
Okay, so we
What
got
was that
Bali
again, Trigger? What was that at?
and
Bali
Bali.
is in
That's her
Indonesia.
dream vacation.
Oh, okay. I heard you now. Okay.
Well,
All right, Darwin.
Okay.
What's her
Well,
dream
since we-
vacation?
Since we got a 1-year-old and a 1-month-old, her dream vacation changed. So
Damn,
it's
boy,
right
you
now.
have been busy.
It's currently the Disney cruise, whatever they call it.
Aw.
Oh, okay.
And you know you're gonna make the dream come true. So
That boy got
Ricky?
Irish twins. He thought he was gonna speed past that.
They're
Yeah,
Royal Caribbean.
uh,
Yeah, I think that's what their Disney cruise on.
Listen to
It's
the
gonna be-
doctors, Darwin. Listen to the
It's gonna
doctors.
be this is gonna be our next major trip. She wants to do a cruise through the Hawaiian Islands, so that's where we going next. So
okay. Nice cruise. There's a lot to do on the
Mhm.
cruises.
yeah,
All right.
7-day cruise through Hawaii.
King, how about you?
Well,
Dream vacation.
I thought I knew the answer. I thought it was Greece, and I texted her
Come with me.
to see if that was the answer, and she
Uh,
said yes
why you
and
cheating?
no. She said that while Greece is a place that she definitely would love to live, it's not her dream vacation. Her answer was wherever I'm at, that's her dream vacation.
Oh, come on.
I'm
Aww.
sis.
But you know
Good
she don't
sis.
mean that shit.
I'm in it.
Sis.
Oh.
She just be lying to you for no reason.
You know,
Huh?
like, you know she don't mean
Rick,
that.
no
I'm
reason.
gonna
Just
do
be
it.
lying to you for no reason,
No
huh?
reason, just lying.
Is it almost her birthday? Is that what this is?
It's almost
you
her
wanna
birthday.
Get?
Yeah.
That's one of them answers
bad.
you give when you know
What
you
she
can't
want for
afford to
real,
take
right? What she want for real?
When you know your man can't afford to take you there, wherever you want to be, baby.
Wherever you are, baby.
A player
We
for
could be on
the
aisle 5 at
Himalayas.
Kroger's.
Yep,
We
she
could be on
said
aisle
that
5
it's
at
not.
Kroger's. I don't
She
care.
said that it's not about the location, but an experience, and she knows that anywhere we go will be an experience. That's literally what she just texted me.
That's so sweet.
It is sweet.
At a certain hour, a dream vacation might be to the supermarket to get some food. I'm just
She
saying.
lying.
Corral it
At
is.
a certain hour, okay? That might be the dream.
Who said Golden Corral? Wait a minute.
That might be the dream at a certain
Game,
hour.
recognized game, and you looking kind of unfamiliar right now.
All right.
Oh my God.
Did
Wherever
everybody
you are, bro.
name the vacation?
No, I did. I guess mine will be wherever I decide we're gonna go on a honeymoon. It's gonna be the
Okay.
vacation spot.
It's gonna be a surprise honeymoon, ain't? Surprise
Uh,
honeymoon destination? Are you?
no. We definitely gonna talk because I'm all about budgeting, baby.
I
I'm
know
all
that's
about
right.
budgeting. So yeah, no, it won't be no secret. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna iron that thing out.
He got all them collectibles behind him. That's why he got a budget.
It's the motherland for the missus. The missus want to go to the motherland, Ghana.
Yes.
We actually plan on, within the next 4 to 5 years, that being our permanent vacation. So
Ooh.
that's the plan.
Nice.
Okay. Okay.
Hell
I'm telling
yeah.
you, we learning some
Mr.
things
He
about y'all
said
tonight.
in the motherland.
For
That's
real, going
wonderful, bro.
back. Okay. And Sir Harold, did you go?
No, but yeah, my wife is similar to. And listen, y'all better not roast me. I'm roasting y'all back. My wife is the same way. It's baby, wherever you're at, I want that to be a vacation. That black man, I hear it coming. That's what she said. So, but I do know a couple places she wants to go. It's Disney World and I think Disney World, and then she wants to go to Hawaii as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Let me take it to Golden Corral
you did
real
good,
quick.
sir. At the end, brother, you did good. Okay.
The last one would be, what is her favorite snack? Now I know if y'all don't get that right. Now,
shit.
and I know Darwin, she doesn't have a baby, so she could have a few of them.
My wife like them damn
in the
pistachios.
span of 9 months. But what's her favorite snack? Would you say black
Pistachios.
men?
She
Pistachios?
eat Oh my
wow,
God. I'm so tired of that damn black bag.
Really?
Oh my God. She love them. I don't
They're
know
actually
why.
supposed to be good for you, though, right?
Yeah, I
Pistachios?
guess. But she be eating them things like damn rat, like a rat.
Hey, as long as they don't leave, she don't leave the shells everywhere. You good?
Yeah.
So my wife's a vegetarian, so it's either
So she don't want no meat.
Nope.
You know what?
Oh,
all day, every day. What you want me to say? What you want me to say? A baby leg is her favorite snack? Baby leg. Nah.
Oh my God.
That's sushi from
I'm
HEB.
sorry, bro.
Something wrong with y'all.
The veggie sushi from HEB, or if that's not available, because now everybody's fake vegan and vegetarian, right? So they tear up all the vegetarian stuff. I'll get her some olive tamponade from the little bar at either HEB or Whole Foods, and those little pita chips. She'll crush all that all day.
Okay.
That's my wife likes those pita chips with like that bourguignon cheese on it, and she eats those, and she actually likes sardines too,
Ooh.
But she she got to take a little break, hey honey,
And
with some
let me,
crushed tea.
Did you like it with the white crackers? Salty crackers?
and let me add this too, because don't think you're gonna catch any of us up on this question. We have to know what she like, because if we come home with what we like, she gonna eat some of that shit. So I'm always
Hey, Trigg, I was about to say that. My wife's favorite snacks are Cheetos, and then whatever I'm eating, a little piece of it. Exactly.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Cheetos, the puffy ones or the crunchy ones?
The puffy ones.
Oh, the crushy one, man.
I like the crunchy
want
ones.
anything from the store? No, I'm good. Ooh,
Sir,
let me
here,
get
you
some of
ask
that.
her, baby, you want something? I'm going to get this. There, bring back some pistachios. And you come back with your food. Oh, can I have some? I just asked you.
What's that?
Yep.
What's
I just asked you that you want something.
That was like Bobby and Whitney when he was like, you ain't want, I want your steak. You should have ordered your steak. No, I want your steak. Okay. All right. Who's next? Her favorite snack.
Well, I'm gonna say this. My wife had back-to-back kids. So y'all gotta bear with me on this. It's one snack, but it's
disgusting.
A little sophisticated. So she liked the cookies and cream ice cream. I don't know if y'all know what that is. It come in a tub. You can get it at Walmart, Kroger's.
It's not unique.
No, we live
Cookies
under
and
a rock.
cream ice cream.
We live under a rock. We don't know what cookies and cream is.
Punk niggas eat cookies and cream ice cream too, nigga.
You stupid, bro.
Why you saying like it was
I don't know. This might be a little too much for y'all, but
keep
listening.
listening.
And the cream.
Keep listening.
Okay.
Cookies and cream ice cream. That's the base. Then you take the fried tomato, you put it on the top.
Oh, hell no, I'm out.
Sprinkle some garlic powder on that.
Are you being serious?
Take the fruit roll up, and you put the fruit roll up on top of the garlic powder. Then you gotta get the Oreos, not the regular Oreos, not the double stuffed Oreos, but it gotta be the Oreo thins. You put those inside of the fruit roll-ups, and then you wash it down, and then she washed it down with some seltzer water. Watermelon to be exact.
I knew it was gonna be disgusting. Pregnant women, bro.
Them farts was knocking you off the
That
bed,
has
wasn't
to be
it?
the
Farts
craziest.
was destroying you, boy. You could not put your head under the cover.
Man,
destroying your ass.
Boy, she fart knocked your head off your shoulder.
She should have touched up in one time.
The pollution.
And I wonder why every
is
time I go
wild.
play basketball the next day, everybody getting out my way.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
Wow.
Nikki makes these ices with
Mm.
strawberries, blueberries, yada yada yada, whatever's in the damn refrigerator.
Mhm.
But she loves them. She brings them joints upstairs, and she gets to going, and she tries to give it to me, and I'm like, I'm all right. But she makes these ices, and I swear that she busts them down, and this is her favorite snack as of late. 10 years ago, it was chocolate chip cookies by Pillsbury, like
Mhm.
every
Mm.
night. Like, where's this petite girl putting these damn chocolate chip cookies
Smash.
every
A
night?
Cookie
So,
Monster.
yeah, but as of late, it's been the ices, the homemade ices.
I was gonna say they sound healthy. Fresh fruit, can't go wrong with that. You don't have all that extra sugar, even though sometimes fresh fruit can have a lot of sugar too. All
Mhm.
right, who's next?
Oh, my
Uh,
wife. Oh, go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead, bro.
so she was over here eating it earlier. It's a specific kind of ice cream. It's this dark chocolate truffle ice cream. I know that's her jam. I know if I get that, she happy. So,
Nice, nice.
okay.
And she's vegan,
yep, and
right?
she's vegan. So it's a specific brand too.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, so you gotta probably search. Is it sold everywhere? You probably gotta search high and low for that ice cream.
Bougie.
It ain't hard to find actually.
Okay, okay.
Bougie. No.
Ricky.
Ice
My
cream
wife.
24.50.
My wife love Chicago mixed popcorn with hot popcorn in it. So it's
Oh, okay.
if you have been to Chicago, it's Garrett's popcorn. It's cheddar popcorn with caramel popcorn, and then
Yeah,
you
Sir,
man.
hell,
put
know about that.
Is that one of the
spicy.
things that Chicago is known for? Their
Yeah,
popcorn?
yeah, yeah.
Really? Oh
Yep,
wow.
yep. So it's
I'm a
cheddar
kettle corn type of
popcorn,
person.
and caramel popcorn, and then you put some hot popcorn in there. That's our jam right there.
Oh, okay. She got a little smorgasbord of
Yeah,
popcorn.
that's our jam.
All right. So I just wanted to take a little time out to see how well y'all knew y'all ladies. Okay. Don't get mad at me. Don't get
Let me
mad
get
at me.
mine. I didn't get mine yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, Hank. Go ahead.
Now she likes them damn Slim Jims.
Snap into a
Oh,
Slim Jim.
really?
Yeah, it's just gross.
I can't get down with the Slim Jims either, Hank. I don't know what it is about the beef and the plastic and the
Cheese the one
smell.
with the
And then
cheese
I
with it,
just
Heath,
found
or
out
just
that
the
There's
people
regular?
were not opening them
ground beef
correctly.
jerky. It's piped
Some of
beef
them is
jerky.
flat. I had a little dog growing up, a Pekingese, and it just reminds me of his
Dog
teeth.
treats.
Yeah, they just remind me of the bacon strips and mm-mm. I can't deal with the. But to each his own. Some people love them Slim Jims. Okay,
Mhm.
When
them
Hank get
Slim
off, she gonna
Jims,
say,
and I
"Oh, so
remember
you don't
back
like
in
my
school,
Slim
people used
Jim?"
to get the Slim Jims and the combos. The
My
combos
my
was a huge
my
thing back in the day.
my ex-wife used to eat dirt. She from down south. They eat white dirt down there in Georgia. Yep.
He is
This
absolutely
country.
correct. He is not lying.
They sell it in the general stores.
You can
Are you
eat
Fact.
being
dirt.
serious?
Yeah, no,
So
he's
serious.
absolutely correct. I'm from Louisiana.
Dirt?
He, you can eat
Dirt.
dirt. People used to just swipe dirt, just eat it. Eat dirt. He's absolutely correct.
God made dirt, and dirt don't hurt.
She country. My
All
ex-wife is
right.
country.
I don't know, bro. Go
So
look
we're
at their
gonna
inside.
we're gonna
Look at my dirt.
transition. We're gonna transition on. Some men struggle with openness, vulnerability, and things of that nature. So I wanted to ask you guys. When did you feel safe with her, or how did she create a safe space for you? To want to marry her, because not every woman can access or allow that to be something that they offer a man or can offer the man or have an ability to offer the man. So when did she do that for you? We'll start with Mr. He said.
It was constant throughout, but it became evident, by the time I seen her level of vulnerability, just, willing to divulge her differences that she had with her dad. I was able to encourage, that relationship to be a lot more healthy. And at the end of the day, it was. But her family, the ups and the downs, and just the realistic side of her. I was able to, like I said, venture into her neighborhood and see how she was admired in her neighborhood, how she was respected. But I was also able to see her dysfunction and she was very
Mm.
transparent and very vocal and articulate about, you know, the relationship with her stepdad, the tumultuous relationship with her mom and her dad, and just again seeing that level of vulnerability at the same time pouring into me, willing to ride with me through my trials and tribulations, and you know, cultivating a family, listening to her aspirations, and her being a sapiosexual, just loving my conversation, and all of those things, you know, was the perfect storm of her showing me that she was down for me, and that ride or die, quote
Mm.
unquote, you know, that the kids say. She was absolutely showing and proving that. And like I said, from her walking up to me the first day, you know, offering to tie my shoe, to her proposing to me, like all of these things were components that just showed me that this lady deserved, this lady was warrant, this lady was, you know, needing of a good man in her life, a permanent man in her life. You know, all of the people who were temporary in and out of her life, from her dad to her brothers and so on and so forth. Just, you know, her walking up to me and picking me, just wanted me to show her she was a good picker. So her level of vulnerability just solidified for me that, you know, she was deserving of love, deserving of a husband, and I wanted to be that for her. So it was the vulnerability for me.
Okay, vulnerability, which is not easy for a lot of people. All right, Sir Harold, we'll just go around the bend with this one. So, Sir Harold, when did you feel safe with her? You know, how does she make a safe space for you?
To be honest with you, I never expected that. I never seen that. Never knew what that was. I come
Mhm.
from a generation of men where we didn't. Our wives weren't our best friends. Like that's kind of like a
Mm.
newer age kind of thing. You know, I came up with your wife was your wife, and then you had your boys. So I wasn't looking for a safe space initially. But as I've gotten older, you know, we've got 4 kids, married for 16 years. Life has gotten more complicated. I've lost loved ones, lost brother, sister. The what my wife has done now, safe is always under construction. And I think what
Mm.
happens is so many people do something for so long and then they keep it there. And the maintenance that it takes to match your development, it necessitates that your wife sees you for who you are now and not continue to do what used to work because that's what's become comfortable. So I say that to say that safe is constantly under construction. And the way that my wife creates that safe space is listen. Like one thing, the what made me fall in love and marry my wife and trust her was that I could talk to anybody, but very few people could actually hear me. And one thing that separates wives from girlfriends is girlfriends can repeat what you say. A wife takes what you say and she does something with what you said. The big difference. And so my wife, she hears, she calculates, and then she does something, and she can interpret my silence. And that to me is safe because sometimes I need to be safe knowing that you won't agitate my silence to get me to talk when I'm still processing. And then when I process prematurely and I explode, now it's an argument, and then I shut down and I feel guilty. And then it creates a wedge between us because you try to get me to talk when I was still processing. So the ability to just listen and to not agitate me, but to create a place of peace. And when I'm ready to talk, baby, I'm here. So
Mm.
again, you don't get that, 19, 20 years old. You got to go through different phases of life to understand that she needed to grow as well.
Mm.
And so I say that I can't say it happened at 18 or 19. What I can say is it has happened at some point every year. And I appreciate that because my wife continues to build and to maintain that safe space because safety is always under construction.
Mm. So she's always growing in places to be safe, and that interpreting the silence, that was golden. You didn't say you was gonna come preach tonight. I didn't get that on the agenda, but I'm here for
We
it.
taking up our tithe and offering in a minute.
Right. Somebody got the side now. That's good. All right, Hank. When did you feel safe with her? How did she create a safe space for you?
Uh, it was probably when she felt, I guess, was able to share some stuff with me. It's when I said, well, this would be a good time to test her out and see, see where she stands. And so it probably I knew it since '94. I knew we knew each other in college, so that was we had a history there. So, but it was just about us now being together as a couple. It was probably about a year after we started. Well, yeah, probably about a year about that we started dating is when I felt comfortable, enough to be vulnerable and share stuff with her. So about a year.
Yeah. Okay. The actual King Smith, how about for you, sir? When did you feel safe? And how did she create that safe space for you?
I'm not sure how to answer this one, being that I stated that I was married for 14 years, divorced. I'm currently in a relationship now. And in the relationship that I'm in now, we took a page from you that the one thing that you say about being hot, honest, open, and transparent, like I live that now. And
Mm.
it's a freeing and a beautiful thing to be able to just be honest, open, and transparent with somebody. And if they receive it, great. If they don't, then they're not for you.
Mhm.
So I don't really know how to answer that question because I'm living that now with someone and they're receiving how hot I am with them. So like time will tell.
I appreciate the honesty. Thank you. Okay. Ricky, when did you feel safe and how did she create that safe space for you?
When did I feel safe?
Yeah, like when did
Never,
you
never,
Oh, okay.
never. What do you mean by that?
A safe space. So most men don't open up. I don't want to say they don't open up. It's something that they may keep hidden. They may not feel comfortable talking about certain things. And so
Yeah.
it takes a while. It takes a while for that to happen. So I'm not saying that it's never happened, but when did it happen for you guys? When were you able to?
It hasn't happened for me. It won't happen for me. Right.
Mhm,
It happened for her when she realized that I can hold water.
mhm,
Right. I ain't no paper bag. And when I told her when we first met, if we discussed something between us, I had to prove that to her. Right.
mhm.
But I'm this is just me and my personal opinion. You guys can knock me if you want. I'm under understanding some things you should never tell your woman. It's just some things you should never tell her. She gonna look at you different. Simply what it is. I got too much life experience to believe otherwise.
Mhm,
Simply what it is. Your mama will tell you down if she get into the right mainframe with the stuff she
mhm.
know. So don't think another woman won't do it.
Hmm. Interesting perspective. Darwin, how about for you? When did you feel safe or how did she create that safe space and how did she create that safe space for you?
Uh, my wife made me feel safe, and I knew I was safe whenever I was able to see and witness her in a cooperative state. She had a
Mhm,
cooperative nature, which led to her not making rash decisions. And she was reserved during outside conflict, so to speak,
mhm,
because it's my job to keep her safe. So any recklessness she had could put me in harm's way. So then my safety would be at stake. So
mhm,
her being able to maintain her cooperativeness gave me an ease of mind. It gave me some surety that I was safe because I knew that my wife wasn't gonna just pop off, and
right.
then I got to throw myself in front of the bullet. So it kept me out of harm's way, and she let me deal with the issues that require a masculine presence. She was reserved, so that's when she was able to behave like that, and I was able to see that. I was like, okay, yeah, I feel safe.
Mhm,
I know my woman gonna stay in her lane, and I'm gonna be able to make sure, what I'm saying, everything is put to bed. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Because I have a way of being able to resolve conflict and issues without violence. And I see a lot of women out here putting that man in harm's way. Some of them getting killed. I don't seen sisters get their brothers killed.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't think I need to go. I don't even think I need to go on anymore.
And I would say that just from hearing you speak, her having that background of seeing it helped. It helped her probably be able to regulate those emotions. And I believe I heard you say before, did she play a sport too? Yeah, so that
Yeah,
probably helped as well.
we both met at Virginia State University. I was 30. She was no, I'm sorry. I got married at 30. I was 26 and she was just turning 21.
I was about to say, what the hell are you doing at college? Never mind.
Boy,
It's
your
never
time
too
was
late.
hard,
gave-
brother.
Never
30
too
years
late.
old walking around
Super
in damn
senior.
jeans.
He was a super senior, boy.
Professor and student.
I was a non-traditional student at 26, and I was one hell of an athlete. And she was one hell of an athlete. And one would say she was a track star. The way she had a body, boy. And Lord have mercy, I knew
So
that.
I have
with
a
that came discipline.
I have a
So what?
question for you, Mr. Darwin. That sports mentality, that team mentality, how did you, if you did, transition that from, the team to your family?
Oh man, I think that aspect of having a team mentality was important, because long as we had one goal and we knew exactly that's what we wanted to end up at, it didn't matter whether or not I was a better player or she was a supportive player. The only thing that mattered was, hey, can we get the trophy? So the team aspect played a really good deal in us being able to understand and be, that sportsmanship. You know what I'm saying? And hey, look, I'm the superstar these days. You the role player these days. You the superstar those days, vice versa. As long as we knew it and we was able to accept those dynamics, man, we can do anything. But now we got two more players that came off the bench. So it's like
And they're gonna have their roles too.
so it's
All right.
it's hardly no sleep now.
All right, Trigger, y'all in the game all day, all night. Trigger Mike, when did you feel safe with her, and how did she, create that safe space for you?
Wow. I mean, I don't really look at it in those terms, but I will say, I guess this is more of a conversation related to trust. I don't trust blindly. I've seen too much in my life to trust blindly, and I also believe that you trust people exactly for who they are. So I was able to relax a little bit once I see she was a great mom, and I can trust she's going to be where she needs to be for her kids and how she needs to be there for them when she needs to do that. She showed me that over time, that she pays more attention to that and she is focused on being a good mother. I was able to trust that about her. So I'm one of those types of people where, I don't trust blindly at all. You literally have to develop it in different facets and areas. Just like Rick said, there are certain things about myself that I will take to God, I'll take to my father, or I'll take to my boys before I ever think about talking to my wife. So what I do know is over the course of time, what I have trusted is that she started to learn me and my boundaries better. That's all. So in the marriage, I think, as you said, Precious, in today's age, oh no, I'm sorry, it was Sir Hale. In today's age, so many women expect you to be their best friend. They were sold that Disney fantasy. Oh, we're best friends, and well, anybody thought of what if your man don't really want to be your best friend? Not in that way that they're talking about, right? I love my wife, and I love the fact that we can strategize to make awesome moves for our family. We can run a checkup together. We can save a bag together. We can do all of these things, but some men aren't opening up because they don't want that stuff used against them later. They don't want you to hit them where they're weak. And honestly, to be honest, there are more things that I would look for. I literally don't want to talk, but I want you to sense without words. Hey, maybe I need you to rub my head right now. Just let me lay my head on your chest and just do that. But I don't want to use words to get to that point, right? Because I'd rather I'm talking 95% of my issues are solved in my own head before I even got to talk to anybody. All right. So I've noticed that I get more aggravated trying to process. Right. Just give it some time. I'm gonna think about it before I even. But by the time the next morning comes, I've already let it go. Whatever it was, don't need to process that. So most people think because men don't talk that we're always holding things in. But as far as creating a safe space, is I think Sir Hill alluded to it again, is knowing what I need without me having to say it. Just
No.
just be whatever I need. Don't try to talk me into spilling my guts out or none of that. Just be like, well, I mean, shoot, just come here, do it. So I could say
Just
that
being a good
developed over time.
interpreter.
hmm That developed over time. Like, let me stop trying to be his healer. He don't
Right.
need me for that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Only Jesus saves. That's what I say. All right, Arpain, how about for you? When did you feel
Yeah,
safe with her?
I'm old school. I never even contemplated, being vulnerable for my lady. I just
Mm,
thought the whole thing was my responsibility. But the one thing she does give me is, and I also don't believe in telling her everything. I mean, throughout 36 years, we had ups and downs, some financial things I had to take care of, family things I had to take care of. I never discuss those things with her. I just go solve them, you know? If I always felt in my head, if I had to actually solicit my wife to fix something, then we're really in bad shape. We're
mm,
really in bad shape.
mm,
So and this all culminates in the fact that when she goes to bed at night, my wife, she's out in like 1 minute.
mm.
I don't know how she does that. She'll put her head down and she's out. Out.
Damn, you doing it like that, Arpain?
Right, what you doing over there, Arpain?
What
You
you
got
doing,
her out.
Arpain?
Just tell me.
I would like to take credit for the real thing putting out that way, but she done it with or without me.
I told y'all Arpain was
So
a
she
stripper.
out, man. Boom. So listen. But the
Put
fact
it
that
with
she
that
can go to
lock
sleep like
knee.
that, I think is the fact that I don't put any pressures on
Right.
her. So that's the way I am. I feel safe in terms of I know I could tell her stuff. I know she
Mm-hmm.
understands how I move. Like when I come
Mm-hmm.
home, she's not quick to throw stuff at me when I used to come home from work. I could go decompress without having to
Mm-hmm.
tell her I need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was from the beginning. She was never one of those, I need to know where you're at, I need this, I need that, I want
Right.
to look at your phone and all this
Helping
other
you.
bullshit.
Right, right.
So I never had anything like that. I'm just peaceful when she's around. Even when I'm not feeling good, if she's in a room with me, I just feel better.
Talk about
I
it.
just feel better when she's around.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just cool. But I don't never really think I need to offload anything to her that's going to get her out of her peace. And like I said, if it ever came to that point, then our situation is really, really serious. So let me just land it there.
Why they clowning you in the chat, Arpain? If they start talking about sex, I'm out of here. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, I want to put this out there. I found some
Hey,
information on
man, let me
Arpain.
tell
We
you, I
talked
can
about
spit a
this a
good
couple of
sex
weeks ago.
yarn, man. So don't test me. Don't
Arpain
test
used to be a stripper. They called him the continent.
me.
Oh my goodness.
Look
Arpain,
at he
T-Pain,
said.
All right, Black Men Unfiltered, you're up, sir. When did you feel safe with her? And how did she make a safe space for you?
I pretty much can piggyback on something Trigger Mike said about the kids. When the way that woman take care of these babies, oh my God. I just love it. But I also want to piggyback on something Ricky said. And I think our pain is and somebody else. When we grew up, we were not taught to do that. We were taught as growing up as young men to never go to your wife with those things. It was two reasons for it. Two reasons would be, as already been mentioned, that she'll hold it against you, and if y'all have a disagreement, it may come up. But the second thing is, they said what Ricky said, they'll look at you different. My grandfather used to say, if you go to your wife or your woman talking about your problems, she's gonna look at you different. And she's gonna start losing respect for you. And so I remember hearing that from my dad, my granddad, uncles, and I just grew up that way. So I'm like Trigger Mike, if something happens, I have an issue, I'll do my best to handle it on my own. I'll solve it myself and go from there. So
Okay,
Precious, can I add something really quickly?
Yeah.
I think most women, whether we like this or not, are terminally trustworthy. I think that
Hmm.
it's been pumped into our head that our woman is going to be all of that for us. And it's a difference. Me and black men, I could call black men today and have a horrible day. And black men could look at me having a horrible day, and we could literally compartmentalize and say, this was a bad day. He was out of character because this is a bad day. For
Right.
a lot of women, a bad day is somehow an indictment on your character. And I think this is why a lot of women, particularly 90s, 2000s, up until now, say you wanted men to be more sensitive and men to be more open and men to open up and share with you. I think the problem with that is women were asking men to open up, but they didn't prepare to receive it. Like they didn't prepare for what they were asking for. And when it gets too ugly to process and it's outside of their purview of understanding, it's like it's used as a weapon. Like I refer to this scripture in Proverbs. I love this. This is my favorite part. Chapter 31, verse 10. It says, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is above rubies. We get that. But verse 11 says something that I think is profound. It says, the heart of her husband doth safely trust in her. The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She would do him good and not evil all the days of his life. I think most men wish our wives could be our best friend. It's like we get to have sex with her, we get to love her, go on vacation. But when it comes to some of those real critical things in life, even the men who have some of the greatest wives, if that wife is not conscientious and she's not constantly working on herself, even the best of wives who have the best of intentions can weaponize a man's honesty and inflict a blow that he might go to work and get promoted, but that man might be bleeding internally for years with blood that you can't see. So I think a lot of men, I think we wish our wives could be that. But I think a lot of the older school men knew it. They just wasn't as poised and wasn't as eloquent in saying it. But a lot of women haven't been taught how to be trustworthy beyond what they feel in that moment, beyond the good times and how they feel and the hormones. And so I think women today, before we ask men to open up and be honest and transparent, like really ask yourself, can you handle his honesty? And could his honesty cause you to see him differently? And if that's the case, then you can't expect him to love you beyond how you see him. Because if his human experience can change how you see him, you don't love him, you love what you think he is.
Can't love him past what you accept him as. Woo. That was good, Sir Hell. That was good.
Love the idea of you, not you. Simply what it is. Simply what it is. The truth is,
I mean, and it's, yeah, I'm sorry.
the truth is, like, from again, this is just my experience, guys. This is my experience, right? It's funny how, to me, how people could have these arguments and have these actually reiterate the point that women are emotional, that women overthink things, right? So to use Sir Hell's example, it could be something that we're handling within ourselves and will handle, and most women will overthink it, right?
Yeah.
So instead of it becoming a problem for you, now it's a problem for her, which is going to be double the problem for you, right? Because now you got to get her off the ledge when you could just prevented that by either talking to somebody you feel that's more knowledgeable, that's in your circle, or somebody that you trust as a man, right? Or figuring it out yourself. Now, if you got it, now figuring out yourself does require some more life experience going through stuff, right? Also having the resources to refer to, right? But we solve problems, we don't make them.
Yeah.
Right. And when you do that, you just making another problem.
Okay, I appreciate you guys and your and answering that question, because I like the panel because the perspectives are just, you have some that are similar, but you have some that are different. And like I said, we learning some things about y'all. Y'all in the hot seat for real tonight, and y'all are showing up, and I really appreciate you. What does date night look like for you guys? Are you constantly dating your boo? Is it, do you have like a quarterly thing going on, a monthly thing? What does date night look like? Date night. Black Man Unfiltered.
Man.
Well, you just came back from Jamaica, but
Yeah,
how is dating incorporated in the marriage?
I think that we got this thing that we do now, and they have this Dallas TikTok page where it shows you a lot of neat things every week. It updates itself to show you different things that you can do. They added to the city, downtown, outskirts of Dallas, Fort Worth area. And so we go on and look, and we just go back and forth, right? So one week I'll pick something, next week she'll pick something, but every Wednesday I have to disconnect from everything. But every Wednesday we make it our date night, right? So we go somewhere, and no matter where, it could be something dinner, it could be a movie, it could be anything. We just make sure we spend that time together on Wednesdays. Every
Okay, so
Wednesday.
prioritizing it on hump day. Okay,
Yep,
I
gotta
see
be
what you're doing
consistent.
there. I see what you're doing there.
On
All
hump
right.
day. Come on.
Mr. He said, how about for you guys? What does dating look like in the married life?
For us currently, it's a living organism. It's Friday typically. And it changes. But it's more like appreciation.
Mhm.
The week that we have, me going in to the office and working from home, and her curating this home and teaching my child. She's a homeschool teacher, so I get to take the teacher out and get a drunk a little bit. But Friday is the day, because I just want to appreciate her for the week. And it started when we were cultivating our relationship, and we had maybe two children, maybe. And I would go out maybe for a fight, or something that she don't particularly partake in. But when I come back, it's like, I've had infantile conversation all day.
Right,
I
right.
haven't had any grown up, mature interaction. And it was a time where she was just like, I would love to be able to get out the house, break the monotony, and spend some time with you collaboratively. And financially, it just wasn't one of the things that we were able to do. But once we graduated to a better position, Friday became appreciation day, and we just want to let each other know, congratulations for making it through a week. And even if we just have one drink, we get a couple of two steps and we go in. We just want to make sure we get outside the house environment so that we can talk, see if we can be a better partner in whatever areas, and get that time. So that's Friday for us, but it's definitely a living, breathing thing. And it's not necessary, but I'm definitely the curator. It's not, she pick, I pick. It's, get dressed. I got some plans, and we go from there. So,
Ooh,
that's worked out for us so far. And we are very thankful to be able to do it.
I done seen y'all with the karaoke and whatnot. I was like, okay, they in there singing, okay.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the Sads. One thing I love about what they do is they dance. Like that is so good to
Yes,
me to
it's
see
so
couples dance
rare.
together. What? Like so,
You don't
a
see
shout
that no
to the
more.
Sads. Love what y'all doing. I'm very similar. We go out to movies and stuff, but I'm up in the game. I'm going to go dancing. I'm gonna look stupid doing it, but I'm going to figure out how to do this thing right and have some fun. Listen to some good R&B music, some good soul. You know what I mean? Some good dance
Mhm.
music. But much appreciation to the Says. I love what y'all do.
Yes. All right, sir. Hell, I mean, you might as well just pick up the mic. What does dating life look like in your marriage?
So we do a lot of different things. So like we just went to a movie last night. We went out to a restaurant on Saturday.
Mhm.
Um, every week we do something. Whether it's a new restaurant, we go out, we just drive. Like I live like 45 minutes from Oklahoma. So we might just get in there, go down 35. You know what I'm saying? Go, hit Oklahoma. Ain't nothing there but
Get that old
casinos and gas
Cino.
stations. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah, yeah.
Cino.
Ain't nothing but casinos and gas stations. That's it.
Yeah.
And But I love riding past the Texas Motor Speedway. That's just like my favorite thing to just do. So, I mean, we just figure out things, and it's really not about the place. It's really just about us being together, and we do that about once or twice every week.
Okay. All right. Hank, how about for you? What does the dating life look like?
So mine's is every Saturday.
I love how y'all are really prioritizing dating. You're like
Yeah,
everybody is every this, every that, every
yeah, I got
big up
mine's
for
on
y'all.
Saturday. Nothing. I can't do any social media, nothing like that. So it's
Okay. There's rules.
strictly about her, spending time with her. So, but most time we end up in my spots. You know, I like to go to a good record shop, a good action figure / Funko shop. But then like we went to like some vintage this thing we got called Nulu Day. So I took her there, and they had like booths of local beers and drinks and wines and bourbon and stuff like that. So got the opportunity to go down there and enjoy that on a good Saturday. Well, it's like pretty much like a smaller version of a fair type atmosphere, and do stuff like that. We'll go to a little spot we call the Black Jockey Club here, and they got a live band. So we like to listen to live music and stuff like that. And I want to take her to the smoke shop, a cigar. Well, it's a smoke shop, but they really just do cigars. So that's probably the next big outing we're going to do. But yeah, but I'm more of a big fan of live bands. Well, we're both a big fan of live music. So, we always looking for the next good concert, within a couple hour drive. We'll go up there, we'll stay the night and come back the next morning or whatever the case may be. But yeah, so we like a live band. It doesn't matter. Good jazz, up tempo jazz, R&B. It doesn't matter.
All right. The actual King Smith, how about for you? How does dating look?
Currently, it's movies, as her and I both enjoy movies, and we don't enjoy the same movie. There's somebody in the comment that know about the relationship that I'm in that thought that I dragged her out to go see the Expendables 4, which is like an action movie or whatnot. I enjoyed the movie. So did her. Like, she wanted to go see it
So it's
as
good.
well. Hey, look, I said it was good, but other people said it was trash. But
Yeah.
I love the
They took all the characters out, didn't they?
those type of movies where it's just mindless action and stuff blowing up. I love it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't me dragging her out. She wanted to go and see it too. So we do movies, we do football on Thursday nights, whether it's my place or hers. Her and I both support the same pro team, but
Who is that?
The Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, don't say the Bears.
And something that her and I were talking about today is we both do content and we do content together. So the pros and the positives about that is some people say you don't want everybody into your business if you're doing content together and you're with somebody, yada yada. But it's an exercise in communication for both of us, and I dig that, and she dig it as well. So there's not a lot of surprises as her and I are talking and sharing things. So movies, football, and doing our content every Monday night.
Okay. Ricky, how about for you guys? What does date night look like?
Random.
Random.
Random, right?
Okay.
She'll come home for be like, hey, I'm taking you out tonight.
Mm.
Right. It could be anything. Dinner. We stay a little bit from Minneapolis, so whenever we see like a R&B or something, some tour come up, we ride up there. Take staycations. You know what I'm saying? Just pull up on a Friday. Hey, let's go to Vegas. Right. Let's go to Vegas. Let's go to Dallas. Let's go see what's up. Just spend time together. Live bands up in the cities. Like, we do a bunch of different stuff. Like I said, it's nothing set in a set stone because life happens. You know what I'm saying? We have stuff we got to do, work, catch up with you. Them days start rolling into one day. You know what I mean? But when I see time and I got, the money looking righteous, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we out of here, let's go. And I always try to make sure the money looking righteous. So,
Hey, don't come to my city and not call me, man. Come on now.
hey, man. Hey,
come
I'll
to
be in and
Dallas,
out.
man.
I'll be in and out of Dallas. I'm telling you, I'll be in and out of Dallas, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just, and we be all down there. Like, she got family down in what's it called? It's Mississippi. She got family down in Mississippi. Tupelo, down there in Tupelo.
Oh, that's down in the Delta, boy.
Yeah, that's where her
have mercy.
family at.
In the
so,
Delta, where
yeah,
the guy, where the guy
Yep.
was fighting about his chicken.
yes, yeah.
Dirty
So,
vinegar, get naked.
I'm from the Delta. All
yeah,
right,
yeah,
I'm
you go,
sorry.
Trigger.
but we
There you go,
also
Trigger.
I'll also want to talk about, she had her group of girlfriends. I'm a solo dolo type of guy. I really don't rock with a lot of people because I want people to be friends with me the way I am with them, and a lot of people like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I also believe in letting couples have a time apart so you can miss each other. You know what I'm saying? So she went camping with her girlfriends this weekend. Her girlfriend she worked with got a camper out in the country. They went out and had fun, had a little pre-Halloween thing, But yeah, you got to take your girl out, man. Show her you appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And you should be taking him out too sometime. You work. You know what I mean? He shouldn't have to pick up the check every time. You know what I mean? So yeah, but it's totally random. We don't set nothing up. We kind of fly by our seats type of couple. When we want to go, we just get up and go if we got the time. So.
And that's exciting. All right, Darwin, how about for you? What does date night look like for you guys?
Well, before we had kids, it was, we'll fly out, we'll hit the club, get a section, we'll get drunk, get back to the suite and see who's willing to do the freakiest, nastiest thing. But now it's more like a, hey, let's take the kids to the park, and the kids are asleep. That's what date night is now.
That's date night.
Get you some booty in the middle of the night and call it a day. That's it.
It won't always be that way. I can't even get it out. Hopefully it won't always be that way. Trigger Mike, how about for you? What does date night look like for you?
I'm on the same time Bruce is on. That's really what it is. So what I really want to say for people who aspire to be married, get your head out of the clouds and be realistic. If you think you're gonna date with young children the same way you did when y'all were boyfriend and girlfriend, it's not going down like that. I believe one of the reasons for the high divorce rate is people aren't realistic about marriage at all.
Yeah.
And when I said I went into this knowing exactly, I went in too prepared. I was prepared. She wasn't. All right, I knew that these children are going to be our date night. We can't do anything with them. And the funniest part is that I told her, I said, it's not even about me. You're not going to want to leave them with people when they're young. And she exactly how she was. Well, but no, maybe we shouldn't leave them. Maybe the babysitter, not right now. That's how it is. So date time is anywhere, anyhow, anything. And it usually involves wine. We're big wine drinkers in this house. Our first anniversary was at Messina Hoff by it's a Texas staple type of winery over by Texas A&M University in College Station area. Been in the family over there for a while, so we went over there and then we just started learning about wine. But on Friday we went to a nice spot in Katy called the Cellar Door. Very intimate, live music, and Texas got a lot of Latino inspired stuff. So that dude, just imagine a old Mexican dude named Rodrigo on a damn guitar. You already know that sound like Desperado. You remember that movie? He was killing it, and his eyes closed. Just imagine it. So that type of intimate setting. We love intimate stuff, and we do love to dance, man. But she can't get me to go salsa dancing. My knees are bad, man. That stuff is work. You think you dancing? It's work. It is a workout. So we love that type of stuff, and we try to get out and do it as much as we can. We got to be deliberate about it. God be so great. Almost her entire side of the family has moved over here because of me. because
Wow.
of the move I made, right? I moved to Houston 2013. Her sister came right behind her. Another sister came. Now her father moved down here, and all his kids came. I was like, oh yes. So the babysitting situation is getting sorted out. Everybody wants to take the kids. Kids are a lot more independent. You know, they're lovely kids, so they don't have any behavior issues. So yeah, we're gonna get out a lot more. But I got a 4 and a 6-year-old. We're just now getting to the point where she feels comfortable letting other people watch them, especially overnight. So yeah, we're back into the swing of things slowly but surely. But I just want to make sure I leave a realistic statement out there. You're gonna take a bit of a hiatus from the way it used to look like. In fact, Bruiser talking about he getting some in the middle of the night. Shit, I had to change to the daytime. That's you see what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all will be tired when it come these night times, especially Friday. If y'all go out on Friday, good for you. I can't go out at the end of a work week. Catch me on Saturday.
All right. Our pain. What does date night look like for you guys?
Yeah, if I can stop coughing. Yeah, we like movies. We do movies, random movies in the house. We got a place where we set up. We watch movies in the house. We'll go out if it's a blockbuster. And every so often, we like going to hotels. We go maybe 4 or 5 times a year. We go to a hotel, stay the weekend, just set it up with wine and all kinds of knickknacks and stuff. You know, usually the hotel might have a restaurant in it. Or, you know, and so we'll just chill, do room service, have fun, you know, play around. Yeah, and that's cool.
You
You know,
be
so
bringing out the rose petals, our pain.
yeah, well, whatever we want to do. So it's just like, you know, just to get out the house, get out of where we are. You know, so we do that on a regular basis. Even when our kids were young, we found ways to always do stuff together. So, you know, we still try to do it. Maybe not as often, but we get out of here. We stay in touch. Yeah.
Pat, y'all watch them old Charlie Chaplin movies there? What y'all watching?
No. We're flexible. Whatever's right, yeah. Silent movies.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So we're gonna talk about some conflict resolution. Because you know, a lot of times on our platforms, I know on my platforms, we talk about therapy and counseling and how that could be a great strategy for not only yourself but also your relationship. So, you know, I want to know, did any one of you go through premarital counseling, and how do you guys approach conflict resolution? We'll start with Ricky.
Counseling, no. Conflict resolution in this house is if you wrong, say you wrong. It's just that simple. Me and my wife don't have arguments anymore. We passed that point. We have discussions. Hey, you saw that, right? What you mean? ... You feel that's correct? Yeah, I think I could. Okay, then. Right. But as far as before, we got into it. Whoever's wrong, admit they wrong. You're wrong. Don't matter how you feel about it. It don't matter how you looking at it. If we have the discussion and we talking about it and you're wrong, you know what, baby, I was wrong. I'm sorry.
That was actually one of my questions too. The power of an apology. I don't think we really understand how powerful that is. And a lot of people, especially women, I would say, take that for granted because we don't like to admit when we're wrong. We don't like how that accountability makes us feel. But the power of an apology is strong. It's powerful. So thank you for saying that.
I mean, the truth of it, and people don't want to talk about it, is that when you have people that's disagreeable and not going the way it's supposed to go, there got to be consequences to it. Because if not, they just gonna keep doing it. No, when we was going through it, it was consequences. It was consequences, and I'm gonna stand on it. I'm gonna stand on it until one of us get it. Because I'm not. Hey, like I said, and the way I feel about the way I approach this marriage is gonna take. You got to kill my mama for me to leave you. It's got to be something crazy disrespectful because I took it seriously. I take it very seriously. right? So again, if you want me to work on the things that I need to for you, you're gonna have to work on the things I need you to for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I see B Love said, Ricky, how do y'all get to where you are? We got to where we are now because I consider her feelings the same way I would want someone to consider mine. It's just that simple.
Or because you know how to box.
No,
I'm just kidding.
no, right? No, I consider her feelings the same. That now, again, that has nothing to do with let's say a certain decision that needs to be made for the right reasons. That's different, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about when it comes to when my ego and my huff is brewing up, right? This is what y'all got to understand, right? In a relationship, if you want a relationship to work, the one thing you have to kill first is your ego, or your ego will kill your relationship. It's gonna kill it. It's gonna murder it where it stands. You got to think of that person the way you think of yourself. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Or better yet, you thinking it's working, but what you really doing is cheating yourself out the relationship you're supposed to have.
Mm.
And those relationships y'all seeing, y'all be like, they've been together for 30 years and they just broke up. Yeah. Because they was faking the whole time. Being somebody, as what Sir Hill said, being somebody that they wasn't. So kill your ego and everything else will work all right, man. Just be honest and be real with it, man. Right? That's all I got.
All right. Darn, how about you? Conflict resolution and premarital counseling. Did you guys go through any premarital counseling? And if not, how do you approach and strategize conflict resolution in your relationship?
Well, I was fortunate enough to have in-laws that were married for a very long time. So I wouldn't say I would say it's premarital counseling, but not from a licensed professional.
Mm-hmm.
So we would get our talks. We have conversations, discussions with her parents, and they would help us get through issues that we couldn't get through together.
Mm-hmm.
And still to this day, they're there. Their doors are always open for us. So we look at them as a resource, so that we don't have to go and sit in front of someone we don't know. No knock on any marriage counselors or therapists or whatever, but I think we're very lucky to have her parents in our life to be able to be somebody to mediate for us whenever we got challenges that we can't get through together.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as resolving conflict, I mean, we talk it out. I would be a liar if I sit here and say that the conversations is easy flowing, but what I try to do is just try to get her to understand that, hey, look, a lot of times it's her emotions. It's not the issue. It's just me catering to how she feel and not just blowing it off, because what I tend to do is, I try to get more logical and be like, okay, look, this is the problem, this is the solution. All right, move on. But I think a woman, my wife specifically, wants you to hold on to it and let it dawn in, let it go through your blood veins a little bit and just let it nurture in your body on how this made me feel. Now, I don't know if there's a lot of females like that, but the one I got, she wants you to, really take your time and embrace the impact of how it, made her feel negatively. Besides just saying, oh, yeah, okay, and just blowing it off and going on my day. So I would say I got to be a little bit more sensitive. I have to show a little bit more sensitivity to, the things that, may upset her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was struggling to deal with that because I wasn't shown any sensitivity as a child. When I grew up, I didn't even grow up with my mother. My auntie raised me. My father wasn't there. So, when everybody got Jordans, I had the LA Gears. So the sensitivity for me wasn't there. My feelings were hurt. So I learned to fuck it. And then to put the icing on the cake, I went to Uncle Sam. That make it even worse, bro. Like I want to say. So I got to learn how to be able to bridge that gap, to where, okay, look, I can be heartless, but I still got to cater to somebody else's feelings. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not just about me.
Thank you for recognizing that. Because I'm definitely going to ask a question a little later about you guys and your accountability and what you guys can work on. So be thinking on it. Be thinking on it. All right, Trigger Mike. How about for you? Conflict resolution. Did you guys go to premarital counseling, or you said you knew it all. You knew too much. So
No.
did that benefit you guys, or did you have to go to?
She wanted to go. I
Mhm.
did not see the need for it at first. Maybe in hindsight, it may have been a little prideful, but in the end, I was right. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think with the premarital counseling, all of that came about from people trying to force relationships with people they didn't want to be with in the first place. I remember a lot of family used to teach all of this up front. And if you don't have anybody you can go to ask questions and no example, then yes, maybe premarital counseling for you to get some perspective. But I would say there's a very deep similarity between being a good husband or wife and just being a good person. Do you struggle to be a good person? Then you might end up being a terrible husband or wife. Uh, Everything I've done as far as my marriage is concerned, I've done with intention. I've done it with intentionality, and even maturing to the point where I was able to be successfully married for the 5 years that I've been married. We've had minimal arguments, and for the men, I really encourage you to understand that a lot of that has to do with you. Are you willing to be the thermostat on the wall to say it doesn't matter how hot she comes into a discussion or an argument or anything, she's not going to get that response to keep that argument going? That's really all it is you taking control of your own emotions, your own responses to encourage the best outcome in every situation. Because some people is like, when you and your wife argue, me and my wife don't argue. We don't. I can't really remember very many notable arguments. Everything that even resembles an argument turns into a session on how we can just communicate better to get the goal done. What is it that you want? And I already know I'm the person supposed to make that happen. How about we just weed through all the emotion part of it and get down to business? What do you need from me to make that happen? Once you start communicating on a consistent basis like that with your wife, you are now coaching the woman you are supposed to be with for an eternity on how to deal with situations. I feel like a lot of successfully married people, the wife will tell you she adopted the logic of her husband over time.
Yeah,
She
definitely.
just adopted it. You know what? He don't be yelling.
Should be
I
that
just feel they will start to realize it. I mean, can you imagine yelling at a brick wall? You know what that looks like, right?
way.
It's just not giving you a response. Eventually, you're gonna have to change your tone, to get a response out of your husband. And I encourage a lot of men to be like that because it is about you. A lot of us have been taught and it's been nurtured in us to just give back the same energy that you get. But no, you got to sit here with this person. You got to be married to them after the fact. You have to um, give a good example for your children. You got to make sure you keep your voices down when you do have disagreements. So you will learn over the course of time that if you are intentional about not really fussing and getting down to the root cause and the solution of every problem, you will communicate better as husband and wife than you communicate with anyone. Just imagine a team that is solely solution oriented. We don't have to get in here to do anything other than identify the problem so we can solve it. We don't got to argue about whose fault it was. We are just solution oriented. I feel like most successfully married people have that going for themselves in their marriage.
Okay. Our pain.
Yeah, that's very good, Mike, because I agree with you on that one. I didn't have any counseling either, before I got married. I just was ready for it. but I was ready for what came. But that doesn't mean I knew everything going in. I mean, in my interactions with my wife, there's a couple of times I had to learn how you know, she would handle my direction or handle our conflicts, but we never really had big and bad ones. But what I did know is that I couldn't curse when I talked to my wife about anything. Even if I was dead right, as soon as I drop an F bomb, the conversation is over, meaning nothing I said after that would get through. Right. So it's one of my learning things when when I deal with her, because she doesn't curse, she doesn't do any of that. So we were having this dispute over something, right? And then I lowered my tone and I made sure I didn't curse at all. And I swear, this was so funny because after a second, she knew what I was doing. She
Mm.
said, "You trying not to curse. You're trying not to curse." She got mad at me for not cursing. So she could just like walk away. I said, "That's right. I'm not." And we just started laughing. So whatever we were talking about, it was over. After I just started laughing, I said, "That's right. You don't want me to do this, so this is how we're going to talk from now on." And so it's kind of funny, but it was a learning thing. I
Mhm.
knew how I got a better understanding how to communicate with her, and she was right. We didn't have to go that path to get things done. And if we want to get something done, what do you need to do? What I need to do, and let's just go ahead and work towards that. And so that was one of my learning things. I never forgot that. It was pretty funny. It was early on. But yeah, so we didn't have any kind of counseling, but we just learned things as we go. And I used to read some books. I understood that our marriage was the center of our relationship was the center of our marriage. The kids had to be under that umbrella. They
Yeah.
never became the focus. Well, marriage was the focus. And if we had that together, the kids would just naturally get taken care of. That's exactly what happened
Mhm.
through the years. So, I mean, we can go on and on about that, but I never got any kind of counseling. I mean, I've seen other people's marriages, but I wanted to fashion my own.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Conflict resolution, premarital counseling. Where we at? Mr. He said, did you guys go through any of that? Did you experience any of that in the beginning of your marriage? And if you didn't, how do you guys come to the conflict resolution stage in your relationships when it's, when you're in the thick of it?
Yeah, no premarital counseling.
Mhm.
I believe we're a little too seasoned for that. That was before our time.
Mhm.
And how we approach conflict is like heavyweight fighters.
Mm.
No hitting below the belt, no biting, no spitting. I mean, it's the same rules apply because one punch can knock somebody out to the point of death. This marriage could die from a hit below the belt, from one hard blow from one of these 200-pound men, these 250-pound men. So we approach it with the same exuberance as a heavyweight championship fight. And as long as, like our pain said, we have the words to articulate ourselves, that was really, you know, the crust of the disagreements. When people don't have the words, they yell, they curse, they call people out of their names. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to not to have to do that. The
Mhm.
missus didn't like that I had the words and the comebacks and the things to say in retort, but that just, encouraged her to work on her vocabulary, the way she expressed herself. We became, very communicative in regards. So I think it's just that bar, that level of understanding, that level of compassion, and I agree with everything all of the gentlemen said, but we just approach it with a certain respect for each other. Hank says protect yourself at all times, and that's what we do. And we were individuals before we came together. You deserve a certain level of respect. I
Yeah.
shouldn't be calling you all kinds of out your name B's and H's and then expect you to put those same lips and use these same lips that I called you all of that to do something extra special later. It's insensitive, it's disingenuous, it's a lot of that. And when you have
Unloving.
respect for yourself, you will not allow someone to do that. So, that's the standpoint that we take, and we've always addressed each other with that respect, and it's worked out so far.
Mhm. Okay. Hank, did we do conflict resolution and premarital counseling with you? I don't think we heard from you on this.
No. So as far as premarital counseling, yes, I recommend it for us to do it because I know we both came from a broken marriage, so I don't want neither one of us to repeat the same things that caused issues in a previous marriage. Is the main reason why I recommend it for us to do such thing. Now, as far as family, and I don't believe in family getting involved in a marriage at all. They should have, once we get married, their input is no longer needed or necessary. Because at the end of the day, it's between me and her. And we got to fix it. It's a circle of two, not a circle of 3 or 4, and everybody else is not going to mess up my stew. You get to putting a lot of hands in my stew, going to fuck up my stew, and you're not going to fuck up my stew. So we're going to cook together. We're going to work this thing out. If we need a third party, we're going to go to counseling. That's what we're going to do. If we need a third party to come in, we're going to go to counseling. Because what I don't like is you go to my parents are already biased towards the son, me. Or if I go to her family, they're already biased to her. So how am I going to get an honest assessment? Are we really not? Because they're going to look, well, I don't want my daughter to be hurt. So I don't want to really hurt her feelings. So I'm not going to really tell her shit stinks. Even though it does, but I'm not going to tell her that. So I can't do that. So I don't believe in family in involving themselves. And people are like, well, what if your son? I said, I will coach and I will educate and I will teach my son all the way up to the day he says I do. Once he says I do, I said hands off. I recommend to him and his wife talk it out. If they need to get a third party, get a counselor, go to therapy. If that's what you need to do. But I'm not going to sit there and tell you how to run your marriage because at the end of the day, that's going to be your decision. Because guess what? You come to me, I'm going to look at her sideways, feeling some type of way because I heard about what she did or what she said to you or how she treated you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the family reunion. Now y'all all fine and good, but I'm still feeling some type of way because I feel like she totally disrespect you. Yes, sir.
The question was premarital counseling and how do you handle conflict and conflict resolution?
Oh, I thought I answered the question. I said I will go to.
He suggests premarital counseling.
Yes.
He was talking about how he wouldn't, suggest
as far as family.
Involved. Yeah.
And so I wouldn't do that. Now, how do we handle any conflict? Well, that's the conversation we got to have. Me and her, we're gonna have this hard conversation, a tough conversation, need be, and hopefully we could work things out between us two. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't believe in family getting involved. So if it's something that we can't work out, then we're gonna go to therapy. We're gonna go to marital counseling and get this thing worked out. So maybe it's something I'm not seeing. Maybe it's something I'm not recognizing, and that my counselor can help me recognize what I'm not seeing, or maybe have some type of clarity on what she's trying to say. She just don't know how to express it in a way that I can understand it. So that's how we would handle as far as the conflict resolution part of it. Come on, King, trying to interrupt my game plan now. God damn.
My bad, brother. My bad, my fellow light-skinned bearded guy.
Oh, okay.
King, did you go? Did you go on this one?
I don't know what I could contribute to this one, so I'm going to say pass.
Okay. And if I may, I think for you, as far as conflict resolution, you're incorporating the hot, honest, open, and transparent. And I think in conflict resolution, we do have to be honest, open, and transparent because I think Ricky said it that a lot of people are walking around here fake. They're not being honest about those things. And a lot of people don't resolve conflicts in their relationships because they're not willing to be honest, open, and transparent about what's going on or how they contributed to it or, what can be done differently to move past it. They rather just stay in that funk. And nobody really wants to be there except for the people who don't want to change and don't want to, realize that they need to change. So, you starting to be hot. That's a way to, fix conflicts because you're already opening the doorway for honesty and openness and transparency. And, no matter what happens, at least you can say you gave it your all. You ain't leave nothing on the table. Um, so I wanted to ask you guys, what's the best marital advice that you have ever received? And then we're going to talk about the gender war and if we think it can be healed. But as far as marital advice, is there marital advice that you received that was like really good? What's the best advice that you ever received?
Well, I know for me, uh, the best advice I ever received was don't let family get involved in your relationship.
Mhm,
I've seen it way too many times,
mhm,
and I got a questionable future sister-in-law that I definitely don't want to do anything to ruin my relationship because I've seen how she affected um, my lady's ex-husband's relationship, and so I don't want nothing like that. So uh, don't allow family members to be an overwhelming influence in your relationship. Is probably the best advice I got.
Okay. Mr. He said?
That's easy question for me. Any boy can please a million women. It takes a man to please one woman a million times.
Okay.
Yeah. Pivotal, operative, and just let me know, that consideration is what's important. That consciousness is what's important. And I take that near and dear. I regurgitate it at every wedding I go to, and it
Mhm,
gives the groom a whole nother perspective because again, we think quantity
mhm,
is where it is, but it's not. It's quality. It's quality.
mhm,
Um, a lot of reform man whores on the panel. We all have our experiences and our walks, but how many of us have practiced saying no? I told you I
mm,
was I was a sports person, so I went to an all white college. Don't like white girls. I had a lot of practice saying no. Girls in my neighborhood that I just wasn't no. So it became habit. It became now I'm looking for reasons to say no. And
mm,
based on the conversation I hear, it's just so many men just find themselves in this vulnerable spot, this weak spot. It was 3 in the morning, the lights was dim, I was full of henny, whatever the case may be, but they just don't have any practice saying no.
mhm,
And I think that that's the operative difference, and practice makes perfect. Practice makes repetition. Practice makes things easier. And fellas, practice discipline. This is what all of the fellas on the panels and for the last 2.5 years been telling you. Focus on yourself. Focus on your finances. Focus on your you know focus on yourself, fellas. You are worthy. Marriage is something that we definitely do better in. We live longer, we make more. It's a lot of pluses, but we have to understand and vision ourselves worthy of it, and consider that we have a aspiration and a side and a picture and a story to tell on our half of the marriage as well. So this was an amazing panel, fellas. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all. Y'all know that. I think I've had the pleasure to grace each and every last one of you guys' panels, but I appreciate what you guys say. I take it near and dear, and I look forward to hearing from you. And Precious, I appreciate you. I scream you out any chance that I get because you
thank
are one of
you.
those ladies that I appreciate, I admire, and keep doing what you're doing. I gotta go now. It's getting late. I gotta get up early. But
Mhm,
thank y'all for having me. Arpain,
definitely.
Trigger, King, Hank. Y'all
Thank
brothers
you
keep
so much,
doing what y'all
Mr.
do, man. And all the brothers that were up here and everybody in the chat, man. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you, Mr. He said. I really appreciate you. I appreciate Mrs. She said as well. So you guys have a great evening. Alrighty. So we're gonna get to no, we didn't finish this question, right? About the best marriage advice you've gotten.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think of some advice
Any
that I've heard that's worked for me or that I've seen work, and I can't think of one.
nothing?
So
Not coming
I'm
up with
out.
anything?
Yeah, I'm out.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm paraphrasing or kind of putting it together. It was more of a monologue, not just one piece of advice. But if
Mhm.
I'm summarizing it, is don't choose being liked over being ultimately right. And what I
Mhm.
mean by that is, as a husband, there's certain instincts that I have, and certain trust that needs to be given to me on what I say to be ultimately true. And what I mean by that is, if there is something concerning, let's say, the children's safety, and what you'll notice is that a lot of wives will, when they want something, especially if their kids want it, and you're having disagreement as parents, what what most of these punk ass husbands do is they'll acquiesce because
Mm.
they don't want to be disliked within their own home. They don't want to be disliked within the group that's present. They want to be the cool dad for a moment, knowing that you might have just put your kids in danger. Know that this is not the most safe situation for them, but because you don't want to be the one person out of the group that says no, you just go ahead and acquiesce and somebody gets hurt. So it's a bad feeling to feel that the first few times it happens. But basically what the person was telling me, don't be no punk ass daddy. Doesn't
Mhm.
matter if nobody agrees with you. You have that instinct for a reason. And a lot of black men today are inundated. You heard it on the panel tonight with women all around them. His wife got a bunch of sisters and they all think they're right. They all think we should just do it. What's the big deal? Y'all don't see the situation like I see it. In fact,
Mhm.
take your kids to go see it. My kids aren't going. They staying right here with me because it's not safe, right? So men have to be rigid. Trust your instinct and don't choose being liked over being ultimately right. If you know and you have that intense feeling that this is the direction I want to take my family for this reason, and you know you can't be moved on it, then don't move. Right? Everybody's gonna have to respect it. So I've done that on such a consistent basis. Like I said, my wife started to be able to see danger the way I see it.
Mhm.
Right. So it's like
Right.
you're teaching people what exactly your instinct is for. And then there are times where I need to rely on my wife instinct too. Women have a maternal instinct. Y'all are pretty much emotionally and mentally bonded to your children. So maybe I'm
Mhm.
being a little too hard on the children. I need to lean on her instinct to say, oh, maybe I shouldn't have yelled that hard. All right, I'm gonna go apologize. Right. So it's a symbiotic type of experiment that we're doing. But I do a lot of these punk ass daddies out here. If you think your daughter shouldn't be wearing something, don't acquiesce
Right.
or go change, right? So because you know the way the world works, you know what men are looking for. You know, you just put a target on her back by letting her walk out the house that way. So yeah, that's all. Just don't choose being liked over being ultimately right.
Mhm. I would agree with that wholeheartedly because my dad sure enough didn't care if he was liked. Okay.
Mhm.
Arpane, how about for you?
Yeah,
Best marital advice you've ever received.
I didn't get any marriage advice from anybody.
Okay.
I'm thinking about all the folks that I know who were married. I don't think I had any conversation with anybody before I got married about anything. When I told people I was getting married, they said, "Oh, congratulations," and that's about it.
Mhm.
So everything I learned all along the way by looking at other folks, but no counseling, no marriage advice. It's funny. I mean, my brother got married early, but he got a divorce early too.
Mhm.
Um, but no, it just didn't happen that way for me.
Okay. So this whole show has been about marriage. It has been about who you were before you were married. But now we're in 2023, right? And we have these gender wars. Do you guys think that there is anything that is going to heal the gender wars or close the gap a little bit further than it's closed? Well, I don't think anything's,
Go ahead,
I
Mike.
do
Uh-oh.
you think that there is anything that can be done on the woman's side and the man side that will close the gap a little bit, closer on us getting back to love instead of
All right.
separation, isolation.
Let me give you a little bit of this African cynicism, okay? About to get a little cynical up in here. No, there's not anything that can be done because we went from a period of things being done to us in the Black community to people now doing these things on purpose. They're choosing a life of independence. They're choosing a life to have influence over the community and their children without the influence of their man, right? So that's now a choice. The government's not doing it to you. It's a choice. You're screaming it from the rooftop. INDEPEDENT, right? So this is how cynical they are in my home country, all right, where I'm from. When you make choices, you then have to suffer from them. If the change you want to see is actually ever going to come about again for people that look like us, people have to suffer from the choices that they've made. We can't save them from it. We keep trying to. We got like some kind of, especially the men, we have some kind of savior complex for Black women. But I'm telling you, it's not to be a pessimist or anything. These choices that have been made, people behind that are coming behind need to see it play out the way it's supposed to play out. Unfortunately, we need to see the women who said, I don't need a man, go without one for the entirety of their life and suffer through whatever that brings. You need to have that happen. So the people that come behind them be like, not me. Remember, society always corrects itself. We don't necessarily have to impose our will to correct it. We think we're just doing it because we want to be good people. We want to be seen saying that we were opposed to this behavior and that we were family oriented. But everybody that made a decision to embrace this type of toxic mentality and ideology, they're going to need to suffer the consequences in order for us to get all change in the community ultimately.
Okay. Anybody else? What do you guys think about the gender war? Will it ever be any peace? Or at this point, it's
Go finish.
the survival of the fittest?
Well, it's funny. When I look at it, there's no end for the gender war for the people who still want to keep fighting. I think both men and women have to understand that the nature of the game has changed, but the nature of people really hasn't. It's just the tools that everybody uses to abuse one another has changed. Technology and everything else. There's still women out there who want to be married, even though people say they don't want to be. And there's still men out there who want to get married, even in light of being destroyed in like divorce court, family court, and that kind of stuff. So those kind of people are still looking for each other. I've seen some weddings just happen recently. Hick wants to get married. He knows all the stuff that's going on out there. So the point is, it depends on what you're focusing on. So the folks who want to stay at war. But the folks who are upside down and understanding that you can't ask for traditionalism if you're not traditional yourself. And that usually falls more on the woman's side. They want traditional men, but they don't want to be traditional wives. And that's the way that finger points. And then there's men who bought into this fact that, the bad word of 50-50, right? Men and women have to, in our economy, it takes 2 salaries for the average person to make anything work. That's not 50-50, right? That's just 2 people working together to accomplish a goal, a mission, to move up. But somehow that got bastardized into saying, listen, if I want my wife to chip in financially, then I shouldn't ask her to do anything else. Or I shouldn't have control, right? Men don't say their women are partners. Women say that. I wish my wife would call me her partner. I'm not a partner. I'm her husband.
Right.
So it has a connotation that we're just like buddies in this thing, like business partners. But then again, that's a mindset, right? When a person's talking to you as, when women mention the word partner, that's telling a man, and sometimes men miss this, that she looks at you like a business arrangement. That has partnership has nothing to do with love and affection. She's looking at you for what you could provide, and a lot of guys miss that. But the war is not going to be over because the powers that be don't want it to be over. And until things start to change, until the economy or the country is completely destroyed, then they're going to start taking away those gifts that they give or have been given to women to force them to be more actually to need men more and make that more evident, right? Because we need each other, but
Right.
women definitely need to have the cover of a man. It's hard being out here. And a lot of women are starting to say that, but it's already after they recognize that they're going to be alone.
Mhm.
You know, and when I say alone, there's going to be a lot of men alone, but nobody gives a shit about that, right? You know,
And it's
there's
not
gonna
good for
be-
men to be alone.
yeah. So when women start to get on these internets and talk about I'm 45 and nobody's checking for me, well, you know, you brought it on yourself. See, that accountability now comes there.
Mhm.
So yeah, the war's never going to be over. But I think I think we should just get tired of talking about it
Mhm.
and move on to people who actually want to cleave to each other and want to know they need to both do whatever it takes to make a marriage work.
Right.
And then we need to bring back, you know, the meaning of the vows. If you get married, you gotta believe in the vows you're taking, or else don't get married. You know, so I
Oh,
mean, I'll leave it there.
I definitely agree with that. That's why I wanted to make this into a series. But tonight I wanted it to be just straight talk with you guys about marriage and how you view it, how it's going for you, and what you do, to sustain it. So I definitely appreciate you guys being on the panel. King or Hank, did you guys want to talk about this gender war? What do you guys think it's going to end up being? Are we always going to be in this gender war situation, or is there light at the end of the tunnel?
I don't think there's light at the end of the tunnel. I also don't have a solution. I came into it myself coming out of my divorce asking like what in the world happened? Like what's going on? Why are things, set up this way? The person who I'm with now, I always joke and say that it was a warm lead essentially because it was somebody that knew both of our values that had put us together. But looking at other people's situation, man, it's bad from what I can see, and I don't know what turns it around, barring like something like major.
Mhm. Okay. Hank?
Uh, yeah, some you know, it's got to be willing to take some L's. Nobody wants to take an L.
Mhm.
Pride won't let them. I mean, I think Ricky said earlier. Pride will kill out your relationship, and I think that's what it has done. That's why we're in this position now, as far as a gender war, because a lot of pride is on the line. They uh, some ladies don't want to feel like they're being controlled by a man. That's why that word is submissive is so it's like
Like a curse
kryptonite.
word.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just like kryptonite, and then it kills them out. So they're not trying to hear that. But that submission you're gonna get from woman, a man has a lot to weight and obligation and things to carry with that. Now, as men, you got to be able to do that. If that's what you request, man, she's putting her trust in you. That means you can't let her down, and it means if you let her down, you better figure out how to get it back together. Come to her with a bit of, hey, baby, I apologize. I made a bad decision. I made a bad investment, but I will get us back on track, and we'll be better than ever. And you got to be open and honest about it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You can't just sit there and try to be sneaky and hide it and be deceitful and think it's going to go over. It's not going to go over too well, because if that shit backfires again, she's going to wonder, well, how did it get this bad? Well, it started with this. Why didn't you share that with her? Why didn't you let her know so she could maybe help you, maybe bring some suggestions to the situation? Instead of, you're bragging away, oh, I can do it all myself. No, sometimes you can't. Even as a man can't always do it himself. Even a man needs help. Whether he want to admit it or not, needs help. So I think we both got to make some type of sacrifice. Who's going to be willing to bend the knee and have the conversation? You know what I'm saying? Come to the table in good faith and let's make this negotiation and go from there.
All right, so we're gonna hit on final thoughts, but before we do, I want to read some of these super chats and some comments here. So Henry Resilient says any man getting married from here on out deserves anything that happens in their inevitable divorce. Henry
That's
Resilient. I actually seen him on The Lead Attorney.
that's my
Um,
guy. Yeah.
yeah,
He is going through a nasty divorce,
yeah,
and this isn't no secret. He's
mm,
a content creator as well, and yes,
yeah,
his view is that he is not doing it again.
yeah. Well, wish you well throughout those proceedings and whew, the ripping of souls. I always say divorce is the ripping of souls. So if you can do it once and one time only. Sean Bolden says, I asked before, it sounds like your wives. Did your wives shape you or did you shape your wives or both shaped each other? Who needed the most balance at the beginning? Did you guys want to quickly answer that?
I don't think you can possibly be in that long of a relationship without shaping each other.
Right.
And it's going to depend on the couple. Like I think I laid it out very clearly. I'm the one who came, from the 2-parent household with the example. She needed a lot of balance, but then I had to realize that I was too rigid, too stoic, too, immovable on certain things. And it also comes in a point where you don't want, if you care about your companion, you don't want to bulldoze them. You actually want them to have stake in the things that you're doing as a family, right? So, I made most of the, I'm gonna say, the great decisions in this house, but it even felt good to have to bring my wife along and have her make it seem like she gave me her hand willingly to come along rather than me grabbing her arm and pulling her to come along, right? So yeah, you definitely are going to have times where you feel like you're shaping each other, and especially as you start to form what I call your family identity, right? So everybody can imagine those older Brady Bunch type shows where the family would either have the name on the mailbox or on the carpet, right? You're going to develop a family identity. So you're going to, the funny thing is, you talk about shaping your partner. My wife uses most of my catchphrases now. She don't even know it. She'll deny it if I told her. But she says things, makes facial expressions, and does. I'm like, oh, this lady thinks she's me. Who does she think she is? But yeah, you're absolutely gonna rub off on one another like that.
All righty. We're going to go on to the next comment because I want you guys to speak to this. Eve says, I'm scared to get married. So what would you tell the woman who says that she is scared to get married?
She
I'll
needs
tell
to
her
be
she
more
should be.
specific on what she's scared about.
I'll tell her she should be.
No, she needs to be. She got to be specific on what you're scared about. Because
No.
I don't see any real downside for women to get married. Not these days.
You know
You
what,
know,
Bang?
you know.
Well, look at all we talk about on these shows and these panels. She should be afraid, not just of the men.
Afraid
She
of
should
what?
be afraid. She should, Lord, think about it this way. A lot of women need to be afraid of their own decision making. A lot of them don't make good decisions in partners. And really what I think some women are crying out for help is, I need to break a cycle. Like, think about it this way. Most women are charging men with the experience one man or one style of man gave them. And they keep going back to that same dude. They keep going to, the dirt, the dirt to find good men. But, and when they say they're afraid to get married, it may not have anything to do with men in general. It could be something like an introspective style statement.
No, from that standpoint, I agree with you. And that would be like, but she would, a woman would never admit that. They would never admit to themselves that they're scared to be married because of the things the choices they make. When a woman asks, I'm scared to be married, she's thinking that a man's going to do something to her. Right? So,
yeah.
But like I said, what you're saying is true, right? If they're not going to, look at a man for and be, or trauma bond with a person, or the lowest common denominator, man, yeah, they should be scared. You know, so yeah, I agree with that part. But that's not what she said.
True. I think
You
we
know,
just
Well,
gotta interpret.
look in the words of my man, the great Aaron Hall. He said, "Baby, don't be afraid. I'm not gonna hurt you." That's what he said. Baby,
true.
don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
No, not the fast version. Not the
Oh,
fast.
okay.
I'm talking about the slow version, the love making version. I'll be playing it tomorrow on Amp Radio. I promise you
There
that
you go. There you go.
it will be in the rotation. But no, all serious note. Yeah, look, Eve, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid at all. I mean, look, it's a chance you taking. Life is a
Yeah,
risk, right?
risk.
You gonna roll the dice, and if you do what you need to do, and as far as vetting the man and sending him to your father, hopefully you have a good relationship with your father and allow him to have the conversation with him and cipher through the BS. You know what I'm saying? And then let him, and hopefully he's a good trusting type father. You'll trust what his decision is, and he'll send you back and he'll give you the head nod for yes and a head shake for no. And like, this ain't the one, and keep it moving. But you know, look, if you're worried about losing material things and some people, how about y'all talk about a prenup? If that's what you're afraid of, if that's your fear, I don't know. Like you said, it's not very specific. It's very vague what it is. But if that's what it is, hey, talk to him about a prenup and go and get that thing going, and then go from there. But I'm not a fan of it because I feel like you pretty much setting yourself up for an exit plan any given moment. I don't believe in that, but some people need the help for their fears and put them at ease. So if that's what it's going to take, I advise you to do what you need to do it. But get that experience, and I'm sure you're going to have a successful marriage. You know why? Because you come to the basement. You rock with me. So you got a chance.
Yeah, I see Eve's name every now and again on some of my posts, and um I would say there are some things she's inquisitive about. She gives her opinion about. um it's crazy that women are scared to be it's not crazy that they're scared to be married. I shouldn't say that. um but it shows you where we are in society when it comes to trusting the protection and the provision of a man. To say that you're scared to do that um, means that there's apprehension there, and then you have to figure out, like our pain. He said it perfectly. What exactly are you scared of? We have to get to the root of those things and be honest about those things, because if it's and it's not even the other person and they're not even in the picture yet and you're scared of that, you have to, unravel what the fear is, because with him being in the picture, your fear is going to bleed over onto him, and he's gonna be able to sense that and know that there are some things that you're doing out of fear. So I do appreciate Eve's perspectives when she comments. I don't know, I want to get the ladies together. I used to do ladies night on Wednesday. We may have to bring that back, or do like a I don't know, every other Wednesday ladies night, because um we shouldn't even be walking in fear. As a woman who wants to be in a union with a man, and I'm not saying that we won't be fearful, but we have to walk in faith. As a woman, as the lesser vessel, you have to walk in faith. You have to submit underneath of a leadership where you're going to walk in faith. To me, it's part of the package. But it's not about me. Okay, so we have this next super chat. $4 information man show says respect to you and the panel. We had a lot of people come through tonight in the chat. I appreciate you guys for sharing this live, as well as getting the word out there that we were having it. It's definitely not going to be our last one. Next time I do want to have like supporting videos and things and break the show up a little bit. But I wanted to get to the root of who you guys were. so that when we do come back up, if you guys are in the rotation of men who want to be involved in this marriage vow series, that people have a little bit of background on you, so they can understand your perspectives a little bit better. So we're going to end off with the final thoughts. We've been on here for about 3 hours. I can say though, the Eagles won. We got another W3 and Eagles, go Eagles. But final thoughts, guys. Go ahead. Final
Well,
thought.
I guess I go first since I'm up first. My main thing I'm gonna say, like I always say, black man, protect yourself at all times, man. Do what you got to do to get your mental right. Whether if it means you got to get on somebody's couch or somebody's Zoom meet, man. Get your mind right. Make sure you get your blood work done. Your A1C in order. Heart disease and diabetes, two of the most biggest killers amongst black men. So make sure you get your doctor visit, man. Do what you have to do. Don't skip out on that. Don't be afraid to go to the doctor and get checked. If something don't feel right, make sure it's right. Go to your doctor, have that good, wholesome, honest conversation, and then go from there. Another thing, a man of my age and Brother Payne's age, we got to get our colonoscopy and our prostate checks. It's a must. Colon cancer is a mother, man. I seen what happens. My great-grandfather passed away because of colon cancer, and I seen what it done to him. Now, if he had been on his job, he could have got that dealt with sooner and got that taken care of, but unfortunately, he didn't. And so he had to suffer the consequence because of that. But that made awareness in my life, so, hey, I can't do this. So take care of your business, fellas.
Your business,
All
fellas.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and
Oh, okay. You want me to go first, Mike? So you know, so you're gonna be
well, man,
as profound, huh?
No, I'm gonna be real quick. Thank you for
Okay.
having me up here, Precious. I gotta go, but
course.
this is one of them ones, man. This was a really dope conversation. Y'all see how mellow the fellows are, and I'm soaking up all the experience, because one of the things I want men to know is that you're never done learning. You're
Right.
never done learning. You can get gems at any time in your life from people that are older, younger, just doing things and have different experiences from you. So I'm just glad to be in a space of non-toxic space where I get to learn from like-minded people and individuals. So I'm really blessed to have that. Thank you for having me. Y'all have a good night.
Thanks so much, Mike. Have a
All
good
right,
evening.
take it easy, bro.
All right.
Yeah, Precious.
Payne?
Yeah, thanks for letting me up.
Of course.
When I saw all the fellas up on there, I said, I gotta get up here. You know,
I didn't know if
gotta
you had another. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I didn't know if you had another social media. So I told the guys, I was like, if you guys know our Payne social media, tell them I want them to be on Monday night. So I appreciate
yeah.
you being here.
You know, I had you on my schedule. I went down to watch the Eagles game. I was in a different room. I said, oh man,
Okay.
you know, I'm missing it. Anyhow, but Hank, you're absolutely right. It's funny. I've been having this flu cold. I just went to see my doctor today. So I got a machine for a nebulizer for my chest and my thing. But yeah, I went through the prostate thing. I go, my mother passed away from colon cancer, by the way.
Oh wow.
So I've had that procedure done several times. I'm due for another one. But yeah, you know, actually I'm down like 75 pounds for my worst weight. You know, so I'm not telling nobody what it is. It's all, you know, but I was, oh my God. So I'm still working it. And, you know, so I got my goal set there, you know. So when I went to college, I was 168 pounds, you know, and that was a long time ago. And a whole bunch of weight since then. But yeah, it was 160. I still can't believe it. I thought I was born 168 pounds.
Oh,
But
no.
anyway, but in terms of marriage, I really, you know, it's not, I feel not pity. I feel kind of, you know, sad for folks finding it so hard to make relationships work, you know, because a lot of people just think that it's so difficult. And you know, I'm not, it's not. It's a choice. You make this choice, right? You take these vows, you make the choice. If you make a choice like that, why would it be so difficult to stick by the choices you made unless you allow all the outside forces to infiltrate what you're trying to do?
Right.
Whether you're a man or a woman, you know, like I said before, my wife is with me because she chooses to. I don't have any illusions that I've done something real magical other than provide her something to cling on to. And she chooses to do that every day, just like I choose every day to stay with her.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry that the young people think that there's no way they could ever have that. That's just not,
Yeah.
that's just true. It just got to look a little harder.
Mhm.
That's all. But anyway, so let's leave it there. There's love out there. You might have to compromise a little bit more, especially if, let me tell guys, even if you were paying all the bills, you still want your, you're still going to have to do some other things around the crib. You can't just expect your wife to do everything, especially if you have young kids and she's chasing these young kids around every day. That's a job.
Mhm.
They'll be Google Gagaing, and she don't have no adult conversation. You got to provide that when you get home. So every so often you got to give her a break, and even if you work, So I mean, it's one of those kind of things. So anyway, then we
Yeah.
can have a conversation about that.
Well,
Okay.
I really do appreciate you guys
Thank
for coming up, for sharing your perspectives, for being hot, honest, open, and transparent. I learned some things about some of you guys. Like I said, I've been on this YouTube journey and I've had um, just the pleasure of sharing panels with you guys coming on my panel. And so I think we all share, the same, if not vision, at least direction. And I think it's important for us to have these conversations so people can know that it's real. People can see what the real relationship is like. Some people do have the date nights every week, whereas like Ricky was saying, hey, we're a little bit spontaneous. We may have it, we may not, but we gonna do it. It may not be weekly like everybody else, but we still gonna do it. We're still gonna incorporate it. And you saw that around the whole panel, how there are certain things that are priority. You saw everyone didn't come from the same background, but you made the best out of what was given to you. And so I appreciate you guys. Like I said, I do respect you guys. And I'm always open to hear your perspectives and gain understanding on how it's going in, this 2023, how you guys are still able to sustain what you have when people aren't even able to keep, what they start. So I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And like I said, I do want to do a series of wedding vows and how we talk about the importance of the wedding vows, because most women, they want that wedding, they want to walk down that aisle, they want to look good, but the marriage is a different story. And so I want you guys to be able to dive into that too. And if your significant others, your wives, your boos want to come in and shed some light too, the panel is always open for them as well, because seeing it from the other side is important. But we've had this men's panel on Monday now for so long that I think people are just used to seeing you guys come up here and kind of seeing what you have to say. So we'll work all those fine details out in the back end. But again, I appreciate you guys, the chat, everyone who super chatted. Thank you guys so much for being here. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The Real Precious. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Threads. Child, I don't know if anybody's still on Threads. Anybody still on Threads? But I am out there. Hank, like, I don't know. I don't even know. But I really do appreciate y'all. And I always say at the end of every live, I'm sorry, King. I'm so
It's all
sorry.
it's all
I
good.
am
I
horrible.
was waiting on my chance, but I'm like, I think she about to end it.
I
So
think I did this to you one time before. I'm sorry.
it's all good. Let's see.
What are your final thoughts? I apologize.
I'll try and be brief. I'm thankful that you invited me. Initially, when I saw what you wanted to do and everybody that you were inviting, I was like, I don't know if I'm somebody that should be on this panel as a guy that has openly came out and said, I'm not sure if I want to be married again. When you when you or people take a look out there, I can't speak for everybody, but speaking for myself, when I look out, I don't see a lot of people that have the our pain length of marriages, the people that are 20 plus, 30 plus or whatnot, willing to come on and be vocal about what it is that's worked for them, and just giving different nuggets about the subject and things like that. So I'm glad that you are doing this. One of the people that I know was watching this is a lady that her viewpoint is there aren't any real like good men out there that want to live the life that a married life, right?
Mhm.
And I was hoping that she watched this and just kind of hear from good quality men that you know are looking for a marriage that have some input on it, so that she understands that look, they're out there. It's
Mhm.
just not going to be this easy thing or something that's just going to fall into her lap. So I'm thankful that you did this. I don't know if my presence added anything, but I am curious to see how you keep this going forward, specifically with this one focusing on marriage.
Definitely. And you're my co-host. Can you have to be here? Hello.
Rock on.
You have no choice. But I think that we can all learn, and I think the best thing that we can do is change, because change is inevitable, right? And so I think that this series is going to show people the positivity, and the positive side of relationships. And the more that you're surrounded by that, and the more you have people coming in and hugging you and saying, "Hey, it's okay," the more you are inclined to, want to have that love, want to have someone that's going to be there for the rest of your life and hers. So, you're definitely needed, King. Your perspective is great. You've had experience in the field before, and so, that doesn't go unlooked. Your experience, just because that's not your current state, doesn't mean that your history is just now, trash. No, you learn from that, you move forward from that. And God does things in mysterious ways, and you just never know how he's going to change your heart. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Those who are in the chat, I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you so much, because y'all don't have to be here, and you choose to be here. So I really do appreciate that. And I always say at the end of my lives, guys, be real with yourself so you can be real with others. We're gonna get out of here. You guys have a great Tuesday. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Oh, no problem.